Welcome back to Appalachian Dim Sum,
Where entertainment is our comfort food.
and this is episode 52, Coffee Service.
Coffee service.
Yep.
I think sometimes refreshments, but for today, coffee service.
Yeah, I go back and forth on what it's called. I like the term coffee service.
Yes.
When we were first talking about doing this, I was like, okay, I'll have appetizers, main course, dessert, fine. But what do you call the fourth thing? And I looked around at different like terms that you could use. Like one of them was digestives. That's like a British thing. And I'm like, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Coffee service kind of makes sense.
If you want to sell something to me, don't ever tell me it's a British thing.
Right.
I'll start shooting off fireworks.
So for our coffee service, it's usually what we try to do is we try to come up with some sort of topic that associates with our main topic for the month. And our main topic for this month was The Matrix.
Yes.
So what we decided was...
And we decided to run through movies that I guess we were calling them Matrix adjacent.
Yeah.
Interesting how you never know if they came out this way, if it was all just coincidence, or if it was literally like you get like those ideas in Hollywood. It seems like they come in groups. Like there's going to be an asteroid movie, and all of a sudden there's 3 asteroid movies, and this is this thing about being in a simulation, and all of a sudden there were multiple movies about simulations.
Right.
And kind of makes you wonder, like, who was there an original thought, or did they all just base it off of something else? Was it like a race to try to get all these things out, or is it just complete coincidence? I don't think stuff like this could be coincidence. I think this had to be, you say Hollywood like it's this big group of people. I don't think it's that big a group of people. It's studios, and I think a lot of the people probably know each other. And I've always assumed, they'll
They
be
talk to each other. They go to lunch. They go to luncheons.
they'll be to luncheons and parties and things together, and they'll
Overhear someone talking about, I have this idea for this awesome movie.
Yeah. That's why any of the things I've kind of worked on creatively, I've kept buttoned up, and just I'm not putting them out there until they're done, and I have it like where it's actually going to be copyrighted, because it just seems like it's a very predatory industry to begin with, and the way these movies that I'm talking about, the ones that I saw in addition to The Matrix, seem like there had to be some competition involved in getting to these ideas and getting.
We also have Sophia Stewart. We spoke about her briefly with her film, her film treatment, The Third Eye, that she says both Terminator and The Matrix ripped her off and stole her idea. We're not going to get into that, but that's definitely something really interesting. Just Google The Third Eye, Sophia Stewart, or look it up on YouTube. There, people have kind of gone over what the story's about. I think she's full of it, but hey.
I think if I was going to try to sell that, I'd pick one of the two.
And that when I first heard about it, she was like The Matrix and the Terminator. I'm like,
it's like, why don't you throw in Star Wars while you're at it?
Yeah, RoboCop too. Yeah, I get the connective tissue between them, but the stories themselves are pretty different. And her Third Eye story, years ago I watched someone who kind of like went over what the story was. It's way different.
The trilogy of things that I'm have in mind here with The Matrix, the first Matrix movie, I'm going to talk about Dark City, and then talk about the 13th floor.
Right.
If I was going to make another comparison, I would say Star Wars, Flash Gordon, and the Black Hole.
Yeah, Star Wars is a real easy comparison with The Matrix just because it's a franchise film.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we'll talk about more of that probably in
those two
leftovers.
Flash Gordon and Black Hole came out within like a year on both sides of that.
I've never seen Black Hole.
If you saw the Black Hole, you'd be like, was this movie like 20 years earlier? It was like,
okay.
No, it was like a year earlier. And it's so far behind in the technology and the special effects compared to the big one, to Star Wars. And Flash Gordon is kind of too, even though Flash Gordon was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek and they knew it was on a lower budget. But if you compare those two, that's almost how I feel about like Dark City and 13th Floor versus The Matrix. The Matrix is the one that had that huge budget and was on top of everything, and these other two were like the two little side movies that were trying to keep up.
I recently saw Sandy Peterson. He's a video game developer. He posted something that was like, it was some sort of internet idea. It was like, name a trilogy that's not a trilogy. And his was like The Black Hole, the video game Doom, which he was on the team that made Doom, and Event Horizon.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, Doom and Event Horizon makes sense. Or
Yeah,
the black hole. Like I
the
said, I've
black
never
hole.
seen it.
It's just basically a dude, a scientist that's just hovering off this outside of it, observing a black hole. He's been there for a while and gone crazy,
Yep.
and then wants to lure people to sort of like a rescue thing to come get him, but then wants to take him with because he doesn't have any crew left.
Okay.
Take him into black holes, and that makes sense.
I could see the comparison with Event Horizon then, yeah.
And that was a Disney movie too. It's
Really.
yeah,
Late 70s Disney movie, huh? Interesting.
Disney movie with like a little the worst. I wouldn't say knockoff, but if you're trying to make your own R2D2, it is the absolute just. It's like a parody of R2D2. That is the little character in this thing.
Okay.
There's one that floats around. It's got like a little head that pops up. It looks like a little trash can that has like eyes. And then there's another one that's all dented up and damaged, and he has a country accent. It's almost it is kind of comical when you see it, but they completely I think thought they were making like a Star Wars movie. I think when they made it.
Nice. Okay, so we're gonna let's also for coffee service. Sometimes we have some sort of thing other than coffee. We do have our coffee. Always have our coffee.
Oh yeah.
But that's more of just a perpetual thing. Just always have
I
coffee.
have coffee service during appetizers.
Right.
I have coffee service. I have to have a coffee service to get from one room to the other. I'm getting old enough without caffeine, I can't function.
But I did bring what is easily named a red pill. A red pill. It's just a red tea and a blue pill, which is a blue tea. The red pill is a hibiscus honey tea. And the blue pill is, oh goodness, butterfly pea flower with mint and vanilla. That's now. I personally thought the blue pill tasted kind of like mouthwash or Listerine or
The
something.
mint in it or whatever that was.
Yeah.
I was talking with him. I'm not a big tea drinker because it always seems like it's watered down flavor, which that's what tea is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I guess I'm a stronger flavor guy. But I've just never been a big fan of teas for that reason. But there always more aroma involved than there is flavor with them. And as I smelled that, I'm like, it's like, is this medicine or is this like a mouthwash
Right.
or what is this? And flavor is not as strong as the aroma from it, probably especially when you keep them bottled up.
Yeah.
I'm still not a big tea guy. I worry more that the one with the pea flower is going to mean we're going to have to pause the video
Maybe.
10 minutes in and I'm going to have to go
Well,
take a break.
Well, it is PEA flour. So, I've always called coffee dirt water. 'Cause I mean, it seems like what it is. You're just straining some water through some dirt, and you get some brown liquid, and hey, go to town.
Yeah.
Tea is like leaf water.
It's leaf water.
That's pretty much what it is.
Leaf and grass clippings.
Yeah. I like having something other than soda that has a taste, because you get tired of water. Have water all the time.
I would probably live longer if I drank more tea and less soda, but you got to die of something.
I was thinking, I don't know. I don't want to live too long.
Yeah, I don't want to live without flavor. I'm sorry. And carbonation.
And carbonation. I wonder if anybody ever carbonated tea. That sounds weird. So we're going to focus on two main films. Is going to be 13th Floor and Dark City. Those are the two ones we're going to really focus on. But then there's going to be a few additional that I watched this for the first time this past month in anticipation of.
When you get
this
into like sort of like getting into the world of like simulation movies, you start thinking, and it's like, well, that movie could kind of probably fit in there too, and it can get to be a little bit of a long list if you really start stretching out, and even just alternate realities or people not living in the reality they think they're living in. Mm-hmm. That really broadens that into.
I mean, that really broadens. You could bring in.
I think it had like Vanilla Sky and
Vanilla Sky. Yeah.
Whatever that was called. That was Open Your Eyes was the original movie. I think I mentioned it to you earlier. Memento. I think that's a Nolan movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of his first big ones, I think.
I thought it was his first.
But yeah, and you could stretch that out into things like what's the Jim Carrey and the Little City thing?
The Truman Show.
Truman Show, things like that.
I mean, and also, yeah, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's also a Jim Carrey film, but dealing with memory and knowing who you are and all that.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. That was kind of the topic for the closing of this discussion. I was thinking we could talk about some films that like have tendrils that touch the Matrix that really aren't like the Matrix.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But to start off, we're going to talk about The 13th Floor.
Okay.
Now, I had seen this film years ago, and I rewatched it for this, and I was happy I did. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I'd watched it for the first time just a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I think we found it on Tubi or YouTube. It was something with ads.
Yep.
But May of 1999, I think is when they made this thing. I'll give you a little bit of history on him real quick. It is based off of a 1964 novel called Simulacron 3.
I did not know that.
And the whole idea of this science fiction novel from 1964 is that they were making a virtual city for marketing research so you don't have to do opinion polls. So they made a virtual world you could test things in and not have to bother people. And when I was reading about this, I was like, I wonder if the guy that wrote the book was like my dad or like related to my dad, because we grew up in that era where people called you at dinner time when everybody was home from work to do a poll or do some kind of opinion thing. And it kind of became a thing at the house to where like it was almost uncomfortable if my dad was having a bad day and they called. We went to go get the phone and everybody was sort of like, uh-oh. He got so mad at those people. But I think he really just enjoyed just like listening to him for a second and hanging up on them. But don't know if that's where that story was born from or not. But the idea of that one is it follows several characters that are in that simulation and don't know it. And the simulator, the guy who made the simulation, the lead scientist and his friends get into, there's like a disappearance and some other things that happen, and they start to think that maybe they're also in the simulation or in a different simulation. And that's kind of the premise in all of these things, is that how many simulations is your simulation in?
Yeah. That was actually one of the, I remember when the Matrix came out, and then right after the Matrix we were anticipating the next film. That was one of the like theories, is like, well, when they get out of the Matrix and they're in the real world, what if that is a Matrix itself? So, yeah.
This Simulacron 3, they made a German TV film for it in 1973, and it was called World on a Wire.
Okay.
Probably that adaptation.
So the 13th Floor is based on the same product that the World on the Wire is based on.
I think it was more directly focused on the World on the Wire than the original novel.
Okay.
The World on the Wire came from the novel, and then I think whatever the changes they made with World on the Wire was kind of what they were looking at with the 13th Floor.
Yeah, because looking at for films that relate to the Matrix, I came across the World on a Wire, but I couldn't find a good copy to watch. I don't think it was ever
film, so it might be hard to find anything on it. I don't know.
Well, I found one on YouTube, and I actually linked it on the Discord. And like 2 days ago, I went and clicked it. It was like video not available. I was like, oh, got taken down. Oh well, guess I'm not going to try that.
Some old dude in Germany has got a VHS tape. It's just like, I'm gonna put this back on.
Probably. I keep an eye out on YouTube. Maybe it'll pop back up.
The 13th Floor is set in 1999 Los Angeles, and the creator of a VR virtual reality simulator is where it starts with, and he's made the simulation of 1937 Los Angeles. And the creator of this thing gets killed. That's kind of the impetus for everything that happens in the story. His, what's the right word, protege maybe?
Yeah.
Or heir, a guy named Douglas Hall, that's played by Craig Bierko, I'll come back to that in a minute, is the primary suspect because he's, I guess, would be the next in line in the company kind of thing. Gets interrogated for that, of course. meets this girl named Jane, who says that she's the daughter of that creator. And then she begins this sort of arc of trying to take over the company and shut down the virtual reality simulation of 1937. And you kind of get back to the side story with Hall and his computer geek friend, who is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting now that if you pull that up, that's the first character they show when you pull the movie up.
Because he's the actor that kind of broke out.
He's the only name that
Yeah.
most people would even know from this. But the computer geek in him learned that there's a message from that creator, but it's in 1937 in the simulation. So he's going in to do it. It's kind of weird the way they go in. They just kind of jump into somebody else, right? And just kind of possess them.
Yes, that was
almost
one
like an
thing
agent.
that struck me while I was watching it. Is it felt like they were agents, like in the Matrix idea of the Matrix. They were
Yeah.
agents going into the people who were in this world, and because when they were in this world still persisted,
Yes.
and they had like different, like the people they went in had different names, and yeah,
It's weird, like how he jumps in. He jumps into a, it's a bank teller, but it looks like him.
right.
So I don't know if that was for us or for the simulation or what. Did he look like him before, or did he just look like that because?
I think that's like his avatar. Like
Okay.
they made like the people who made the system made avatars that they went into. Like I don't.
It's kind of weird that when he jumps into it, he acts like he doesn't know why he's there or like where he is or who this guy is. Because he jumps into him, he's like working a bank teller job in 1937. And there's a lady at the window that's like yelling at him because he's spaced out, and he's kind of looking around like, why am I?
Well,
Where am
I think it's more that like there's a story that's playing out, and he's got injected in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You would think that they'd be able to like look at, okay, well, what am I going into before they actually jump
That's
into
my
it?
thought is like, you're going to be going into yourself, you're going to be a bank teller in 1937. And then he'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I
So
don't-
when I get there, I won't be just standing there looking around like, what the heck's going on?
I didn't get the impression that they could jump into anybody. Like that was.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like that decision to have that person look like the actor could have just been for the audience to understand this is the same person.
And
Yeah.
when he gets there, he goes to seek out this message. The message is supposed to be with a bartender. And the bartender, of course, looks like his nerdy helper,
Yep.
which I guess that must be his
Which
avatar.
at this point in the film, when you like find out about this, it's the like the designer, the game designer, essentially. He hadn't jacked in yet. Like he hadn't actually gone into the world.
That was the weirdest thing with it, is it doesn't seem like they're aware of each other.
Right.
Like, you would think that there would be, if it's supposed to be your designated landing spot when you jump in, and it's supposed to look like you, that
Well,
it
from
wouldn't
what
be such a foreign thing when it jumps in, somebody jumps into you, but or when you jump into yourself, or whatever the right way to say that is.
from what I understand, what was his name? Fuller. That was the older guy.
When I pulled up the cast of this thing, they have it listed with the cast of who they are in 1937, who they are in 1999, and who they are in 2024. And sometimes
Yeah.
the names are different, so I didn't
Right.
even try to like keep. Fuller is
We'll say,
yes,
yeah. So Fuller's the old guy that died, and
yes.
when the movie started, he was pretty much using this. Is there a name for this world?
I don't.
We'll call it the simulation.
Yeah.
They were using the simulation. I mean, he was using the simulation as kind of like his own personal sexual playground. He was just
Yeah.
going there to
He's
sleep
going there to
around.
hook up with like waitresses and
Yeah.
girls at bars and
Yep.
stuff like that. But yeah,
And because like when the movie started, you see him sleep with a woman, and then he like goes home and lays in bed with his wife. And I got the impression that he was the only one using it. Like this product, they're going to be releasing this product, but it's in like beta.
yeah, it's like the beta testing.
Yeah, and it's not open to the public, and so at first only Fuller is the one that's been using it, but then Ferguson, right? That's the guy's name. Yeah, Ferguson or John. Yeah, right, this is the issue. David,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
John Ferguson,
Yeah, which one? Yeah,
Doug Hall.
yeah,
Kind of depends on which one you're talking about.
right. The main character,
Yeah.
and then the main character because Fuller dies,
Yeah,
and the
he's
main
just going
character
there to
goes
get that.
into the simulation because he's looking for clues because
Yeah.
he thinks he might have done it, but he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
That was a weird part of this, at least in the beginning of the film, where he just kind of accepts, be like, "Hey, I might have killed him. I don't know." I'm like, I think a normal person would be like, "Of course I didn't kill him,"
Yeah. Yeah.
but he was just accepting. He's like, "Maybe I could have done it."
The Vincent D'Onofrio character, the bartender / computer geek,
Yep.
has the message, and he has read it, and learns basically from the message. It's a message supposed to be telling the main character that they're on a simulation.
Yeah, and that's like the big reveal for the film, is that the world that we think is the real world is also a simulation.
But the bartender reads it, finds out that he's in a simulation there in 1937, and he kind of goes nuts.
I like the I'm in a simulation. Let's kill people. Like, okay.
That's his first thing, is he tries to kill Hall, the main guy,
Yeah.
whichever his name is, and which time frame. You get the State Farm guy from Major League. Gosh, what is his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dennis Haybert.
When I was watching it, I was making jokes about that. I guess he's here to offer you State Farm.
Yeah. He is the
Mr. McBain.
investigator
I
in 1999.
Yep.
And tells Hall in 1999, as he's starting to investigate this stuff, that the creator guy, and that's the Ferguson one, I think.
Yep. Fuller.
Fuller.
Yeah. Fuller didn't have a daughter.
Didn't have a daughter.
Uh-oh.
Then he
That was a cool little mini twist.
yeah, and he finds her, the girl that looks like this, what was her name, Jane, in a grocery store in 1999, and she's like a checkout girl, and he's like standing there like staring at her, and she's like, what?
I loved the line, "Why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer." I'm thinking that line has just fallen out of culture, because now people will be like, all right. You have
I
your
use it
camera
all the
with you
time because we watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles every year, at least once or twice, and that's the whole when they're sitting on the bus and the two people are making out and they fall
Yeah,
over
well,
next to him and they stop and they're like, "Once you take a picture, it'll last longer."
That just used to be a cultural idiom that we don't have anymore.
Yeah. When she doesn't recognize him, the real woman who is in 2024 jacked into her in 1999 and used her to do that whole thing of pretending to be the daughter, trying to get the company shut down, and I guess left. So then this woman knows that she had something happened, but doesn't really understand what happened to her. I guess, or I guess you're not left with a memory, but maybe some little pieces of memory and like.
Yeah, the people when you get jacked into, you kind of like you check out.
Cause,
like the people have it's like amnesia.
Because like she runs out into the parking lot after he left when he was trying to sort of talk to her, and she was looking at him like, "Dude, I don't have any idea who you are," and follows up with him, and like I can't remember what she says to him, but speaks to him because I think she realizes that she remembers something happened and she just doesn't have enough memory left of what actually did. Like I guess she feels like there's some kind of connection to the guy. So
Well, what it is she reveals that the main character, Ferguson, right? Yeah, John Ferguson.
yeah,
John's character in the real world. I was supposed to say the real world of the 1924 or 2024. So his character in the real world is the avatar of her husband in 2024. We learned that at that point, I think.
yeah.
That's why she's feels that connection, and apparently because we were wondering about how, like, why do the characters look like the users, and when they design the characters or the avatars, they design them after the user. So John Ferguson is the husband that she used to know. Like her husband's changed, but Ferguson is the man she fell in love with. That's kind of where we're going with it.
This
It's a cool idea.
Little interaction with the girl coming out sort of sparks it, makes the light go off in his head that he realizes that the 1937 simulation is a simulation they created and a simulation in 1999.
Right.
Which
right.
he is in currently.
Yeah.
And he kind of does like the bartender, kind of doesn't go completely nuts,
But yeah, he doesn't go on trying to murder people.
but he does the same thing that I don't know if it was in the letter. They said drive somewhere that you would have never ever gone.
Yeah.
So he does it, and he actually drives to the edge of the simulation, and it's just like it stops, and then there's just like
It's just
kinda
wireframe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the
What's funny about that is what video games actually do to address that exact situation. There's two things that most of them do. Is one is they'll have like a mountain, Like they'll just have something you can't pass.
You can't climb.
Yep. And the other one is just literally an invisible wall. You'll get to a point and your character just will stop moving forward.
When you
okay.
run, it just starts like
Yeah,
going this way.
Yeah.
If you keep trying to force in, it starts like trying to force its way, and it can't go anywhere.
That this is an aside, but that game No Man's Sky that I play.
Yeah.
When it first came out, because they were talking about how a couple of the advertising beats was, it's the universe exists. If you see a star, you can go to it. And in my mind, I was like, well, you mean you can, like, there's a star, let's go, and you just fly to the star? Yeah. That's not really how it works. It's not a huge open universe. It's like a series of interconnected fish bowls.
Yeah.
And what it is the star map is based on the stars you would see. So it's one of those tricky advertising.
You're going to look over here on one section of the sky, and it's just going to be blank.
Right.
Can't go that way because there aren't any stars.
So one of the first things I did when I first played the game, goodness, 8 years ago at this point? No. Yeah, like 9 years ago, is I wanted to go to the sun of the solar system I was in. And so I just pointed toward the sun, hit the boosters, and just wanted to see how far I could go. And what happened is, as you get farther and farther away from the play space, like the memory fills up or something, and the ship started to like glitch out, and your ship has like these trails, and the trails started getting all jagged, and it started like jiggling. It was weird. So that's
The lesser version of that are always like the Pokemon games. They've been trying to make those more of an open world than before. It used to be point A to point B, and that's all you could ever do.
Right.
But as they've been expanding them, they've been trying to do the same thing. Like you make a mountain, and sometimes you can still get like a creature that you can get on and ride that can climb, that'll get you up to a place to where it kind of gets stuck in glitches, or you'll get up as far as you can go and you'll fall down, but you'll fall down into like a little gap between things. And there's lots of especially I think those early versions of the last couple of games that came out had a lot of that kind of stuff in it, where they went through and patched it and fixed some of it. But there was lots of YouTube videos for a while of people like posting all of their glitches that they found. And
there's a whole thing where people like to try to break the boundaries in video games. They try to find where like the geometry doesn't quite match up and your character can weasel between them.
My favorite glitch of all those, I was getting away from all those, but all the NPCs that they had in I guess the Scarlet and Violet game when it came out. They were trying to make them, instead of just being a guy that is just standing there, they had ones that were walking around. Mm-hmm. You get into where you're battling somebody else in their Pokemon, like on a little field or a little court where you're supposed to battle, and some of the NPCs would still just like, they would just like walk right through your battle, like walk through your Pokemon, out the other side.
So it was like the battle view, but the NPCs would go through.
Then it'd just be like an old guy in like glasses just walking along, and it's like, hello.
That's great. Battle going on.
I think by the time I played it, they'd already fixed it. They'd already repaired all those little, patched all those glitches. Yeah. But I think the scene that I'm thinking of, I think it happens in 1999, if I'm remembering right. The girl comes downloaded into her body in 1999 and talks to Fuller, or no, she's Fuller, to Hall. The names in this movie are just... It's like an anime with 40 people in it, except it's only like 3 people. It's just they're different people in each timeline. Yeah. She tells him that there are thousands of simulations, but the 1999 one is the only one that exists that created another simulation.
Right. Which is cool. It's a cool idea.
And that's why she came in to shut it down and lets him know that he did kill that creator, Ferguson, whatever his name was, or Fuller.
Right.
But a user downloaded into him to kill him, so he actually didn't. He physically did it. But he was possessed by a user that did it. And then I think, like you were saying,
which the user would have to be like the actual David.
Him in the next timeline. And then you get to like 2024, which is way into the future for this movie.
It was a treat seeing their version of 2024. It's just, hey, it's Miami.
I think as a general like rule of thumb, if you're going to make a movie like 1999 and you want it to be a big reveal, like future scene, make it about at least 100 years into the future.
Make sure all the people are going to be dead.
Because when you're watching it in 2025 or 2026, and it's like, well, this is the future, it's 2024, and you're like, they got flying cars and big shimmery buildings and stuff. And I'm like, we ain't there yet.
That is one thing about the Matrix that I found interesting going over the media is I think I felt when I first watched it back in 1999 that it was farther in the future than it actually was.
Yeah.
Because like when is it, like 2100 or something like that?
Oh, like what it actually is?
Yeah.
It's pretty far because they've
20,
gone through
2199.
Yeah.
But
They've
I
gone
was
through six versions of the one at that point. So.
But like with 2199 to go through 6 generations essentially, that's not that far in the future for 6 generations.
Well, if you're killing your
for 6 iterations,
if you're killing your one every time he's 35 ish.
Yeah.
I guess that's about right.
I think I'm influenced by the fact that Dune takes place in 10,191. So I'm used to the idea of the future being way out there. I think the feel of the Matrix, it should be like 2600, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The 13th floor closes out 2024.
Right.
Where Hall and her husband, who I guess was the other user, basically just, her husband, like, didn't he kind of go, he got kind of crazy.
You mean Fuller? Fuller's husband was David.
Yes.
Yes.
The actual husband was kind of crazy, so they somehow or another they swap places. The 1999 guy comes and basically possesses the 2024 body, and the 2024 body goes back to 90.
Yeah, that was the reveal. If a user is jacked into an avatar, I guess this is the terms we can use, and they die, the avatar dies. No, the user dies. Because they're the consciousness that's currently in control of the body, and therefore the avatar gets uploaded into, or downloaded is what they called it, downloaded into the person in the higher reality.
Yeah.
So that's a way that, like, think of how Agent Smith took over Bane's body. That's how that can happen.
Okay. So he's swapped into the 2024 version of himself.
Yep.
Wakes to find her. They're together. They're in love. The original creator guy is there out on the beach. He's still there.
It's actually her father.
Yeah, it's her real father.
So, yeah. So in the 1990s version, she wasn't, her character, her avatar wasn't the daughter of the avatar of Fuller.
Yeah.
But in the 2024 version, was.
So it's a
in
kind
the
of
real
little
world.
happy Hollywood ending.
And there was no like hint at the end that even that was a false reality. Like
I think it was pretty much
the narrative from the world, for the world that it was in. That was the real world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're in the future in 2024, and look how shiny it is.
And we got these headphone looking things that are VR units.
Here are my basic thoughts on this movie. Craig Burko was horrible. And my framing on all of these is because there's no way to watch these for me without comparing them to The Matrix. So if you take the storyline and compare him to Keanu Reeves, I'm like, this guy was a cardboard, uninteresting guy that I hadn't really seen in anything else before, and he didn't sell anything to me to make me endear that character to me at all. Also compared to The Matrix. Again, I would have liked to have seen this back at the time instead of just seeing it after The Matrix.
Yeah.
I thought the special effects were awful. Because, like, in The Matrix, you're jacking in from a robot that's flying around, being chased by other robots. They're jacking into your head. You've got ports and stuff built into your body. This one, you lay down on a table, and they shine some green lights across you.
Some little lasers.
And you have a 2-hour timer for some reason. I'm not sure if I remember why there was a 2-hour timer. It was as long as you could stay before it would hurt you or something.
I think like you get sucked too much, like you get anchored, like you get stuck.
But like
sucked into it.
Lay there, and it's basically just like green lasers with like a smoke machine, so you can see the green lasers shining all across you, and then they do like that little like going through a wormhole.
Yeah.
animation, and
The
then
sliders animation.
then it stops, and you're looking at like the end of that little wormhole in the person's eyes that you jump to. So it wasn't a bad movie. It was just that I'm watching it, comparing it to The Matrix, and I'm just like, it's just not as good. And this actually went up against The Matrix in 1999
Yeah.
for an award,
Oh, for an award.
like some kind of like a
Really?
best like science fiction story thing. I forget which one it was.
Okay. That I think that's probably a benefit of being based on something that already existed.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people were probably looking at it as an adaptation of the original book.
I had the wiki up. I was trying to see if I could find what it was called.
The original book?
No, the original book is the Simula Quran thing.
Oh.
I was just seeing if it said what the award thing was. I think it was just like a best science fiction film at the Saturn Awards.
Saturn, okay.
So it went up against The Matrix and obviously lost.
Yeah. Well, I remember, because I didn't see this right when it came out. I saw it in the early 2000s, and I remember feeling that it was it felt like a TV movie.
Oh yeah,
Probably not just in compared to The Matrix, but compared to other movies at the time.
yeah, yeah, like a really good Sci-Fi Channel movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's interesting. I scrolled down to where that part is in the Wikipedia. See also eXistenZ
Yeah.
or eXistenZ. No,
eXistenZ.
eXistenZ.
That's how they pronounce it. eXistenZ.
Brain in a Vat. I have no idea what that
Brain
is.
in a vat. I've never heard of that film. Let's see.
It's actually not a film. It's a philosophy.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, yeah, The Man with Two Brains was Steve Martin.
The Matrix and World on a Wire. So I think we're
That-
hovering.
the
We're
wor-
hovering over the right
Yeah,
target.
The World on a Wire is that one that was based off of the
Yeah.
13th floor at both. Okay.
Television
Simux.
film based on the same book.
Interesting.
Kind of curious to go track that book down, the 1964 novel, because it's probably not super long. That's an interesting idea that they're like, yeah, we don't want to bother people with polls anymore. We could get better information if we just make some fake ones and just poll them. Like that's such an interesting idea for a TV, for a science fiction thing. It's like it's too much trouble to poll people, so let's just make some.
I think I enjoyed the 13th floor, kind of like I was saying earlier. I enjoyed it because I'm comparing it to movies today, not because I was comparing it to The Matrix.
Yeah.
Just compared to like the other stuff that's being made, and I just
It's a very good movie
Yeah.
by itself.
yeah isolated definitely.
The 1937 stuff was the parts I liked better because they did do pretty well with that time part of it. I guess when you come back to the 1999 and they're trying to show you like, oh, look how cool the technology is, you're like, that's like when you go back and watch the VR stuff in like the Lawnmower Man movie and see how bad it is. But at the time you're like, wow, is that what VR really is?
I liked that the grid, the wireframe grid at the end of the world, you could totally tell it was just hand drawn animation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, probably not super more advanced than like some of what they did in like
Like
the old like
Tron.
80s Tron stuff.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep.
But it's a good watch if you like the
Yeah, you have to go into it expecting some cheese when it comes to the special effects.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I really
no, go ahead.
I really like the idea of the multiple layer realities.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think the Matrix could have expanded on, is like other matrices and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
but
absolutely.
it's a cool concept.
This guy Craig, I don't even know how to say his name. That's how unknown this guy is to me. Craig Bierko, that was the main guy.
Oh, okay.
That's the actor's name.
What else has he played in?
I was going to go look at that now. It's like he's the most unfamiliar looking guy. He's in The Long Kiss Goodnight. And I don't think he was a major.
I was gonna say that I think the only reason he looks at all familiar to me is because I saw the 13th floor in the early 2000s.
He's in multiple of the spoof movies we were talking about earlier, like Scary Movie 4, superhero movie.
Oh, okay. Superhero. Oh,
He's been in a handful of stuff, but it's like no really big mainstream stuff. And I think even if it was kind of, he was probably not a main character in it. Like Equity and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Cinderella Man. I've seen Cinderella Man and I don't recognize this guy at all, so I don't think he could have. And my point in bringing that up is that this movie might have come out differently, might have been more memorable if it had been cast with people.
I think if it didn't go up against the Matrix.
Yeah. Sometimes this really is just the actors and the cast. I mean, there really isn't a whole ton of cast here that's anybody that you really know. Gretchen Mol, she plays the daughter of the creator guy.
Superhero movie. I forgot about that film.
She's in very few things I'm familiar with. She was in Rounders.
Okay.
And probably really young when she was in that. Actually, no, it's only a year before that. So.
All right. You want to go ahead and
Yeah.
hop into the next film here?
Yeah, go ahead.
The other one we're going to talk about is Dark City.
Okay.
Now, this was the first time you'd ever seen this as well, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
Definitely. I'll definitely say unfortunately.
It's the exact same thing as that I'd be curious to see what my reaction would have been to this, just seeing it out of the gates.
Yeah.
But seeing it with the knowledge of the other stuff and already seeing all the other Matrix movies, plus some of the adjacent stuff, it really hurts this movie, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The fact that it was even compared to The Matrix at the time, and it's still today, we're talking about it right now in relation to The Matrix, I think is a kind of a disservice to it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we discussed is you were going into this knowing that it's being compared to The Matrix. So that kind of flavors your perspective of the film going into it at all.
Yeah, and it's really an alien movie.
Yeah.
And The Matrix is not, but I watch it. I think everything that happens in it, I'm still twisting into that lens of The Matrix because of. It's just the one, like you said, people tell you that, and two, there's a lot of reasons, and some of it seems really familiar. We'll get to that in a second. But, I've got some number stuff on it if you don't already have that.
Yeah, go ahead.
1998, $27.2 million budget.
Okay.
And it made $27 million. So.
It did not make its money back. That's when it just makes this budget. It's like there's advertising and stuff.
It opened in February against Titanic.
Oh, well, that's why.
So that was somebody who's like, I hate your movie and your studio.
Opened up against Titanic and then was compared to The Matrix. Yeah. Alex
Proyas is the director, producer of this. I forget which one or both. He is, what I know him from is he did The Crow, the 1994 Crow. He did iRobot in 2004, and it seemed like it got better as, I don't know, Crow is pretty awesome. He also did Knowing in 2009, which, of those three.
Is that the one with the trees?
That's Nicolas Cage, and, there's he's starting to be able to predict things, like a plane crashes, and there's
Oh, I've never seen that.
That's a great movie.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies.
Maybe if we do a Nicolas Cage films, I need to do that.
Knowing is definitely
That'd be way
underrated.
too many films.
Underrated film, but it's really good. iRobot I'm kind of like a meh Will Smith kind of guy.
I really liked it.
I like the movie. I don't know. It seems like Will Smith is just always playing Will Smith, so
yeah,
doesn't do anything.
Well, they did call him Mr. July for a while, so
yeah. And The Crow's always been one of my favorite movies, so he's definitely had a pretty successful career, I would say.
When we're sitting here talking about different films and looking at the directors and seeing what else they did to see if they've done other things we're aware of,
yeah.
I always feel like I get a list of movies that I don't go back and watch because, looking at his films here, it looks like just a couple of short films.
If you want a deep dive into this guy, it was too much to cover. That's why I didn't make any.
Ooh, he did Gods of Egypt.
Yeah,
that's rough.
Look up unrealized projects of Alex Proyas.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a ton of stuff, and there's a bunch of movies that were some that he was involved with, and other people got involved, and he was like, nah, and he walked away from, and some that he had some kind of cool different sci-fi things that he wanted to bring and couldn't get studios behind them. It was interesting. I didn't read super in depth on it. I was kind of just scrolling through it, but it's definitely worth a look sometime. I think it's actually a link in the wiki under him that says there's a link that says unrealized projects of him, and it's a separate wiki altogether of all the stuff that he did. But probably how you end up making some more unique, kind of more memorable things is you're willing to at least try some stuff,
right?
Which it definitely sounds like that's this guy.
Well, apart from going up against Titanic, and being compared to The Matrix, this film, I would say, in comparison to The Matrix, is a lot more star-studded. It doesn't have as many people in it, but the people that are in it at the time were bigger stars.
I kind of make the same observation, though, that I made with the 13th Floor, is that Rufus Sewell plays the main guy, John Murdoch.
Yeah.
And I think the movie might have been better or different if it had been somebody better or different.
Really?
I'm not a...
Oh, man, I think...
I like him in
Yeah.
The
See-
Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was ever... That's the first time I've ever seen him in anything.
Right.
I didn't know him before that.
He's grown as an actor. I will agree with that, because we recently watched the series Victoria, and there's like 2 seasons of that or whatever.
Yeah.
And he plays like a constable in that. Let's see.
This felt, again, kind of... I don't know if cardboard is the right word. It just seemed less interesting than the character I knew him as from the Man in the High Castle, and then
Lord Melbourne in Victoria. That's what we played.
and then when you put him up to you're comparing it to the Matrix that has Keanu Reeves and
You might be one of
Morpheus.
the few people that is comparing someone to Keanu Reeves and not saying Keanu Reeves is the cardboard character.
Lawrence Fishburne and
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne does some heavy lifting in that in the Matrix. He brings. I didn't know who Lawrence Fishburne was before the
Yeah.
Matrix, but he definitely. It feels like he's brings a bit of professionalism to the Matrix.
why can I never remember Agent Smith's names?
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving, thank you. They just
We'll get-
those guys are
but-
iconic
but-
for me.
Between the two of us, we'll figure something out.
I need to just pull up the Matrix and have it here
Yeah.
so I can keep flipping back to it.
See, I didn't know Hugo Weaving before that either. Lord of the Rings was after that, so yeah.
If you take this cast and you just swapped Kiefer Sutherland into the main role, I think you probably would have had a winner. But
I don't know. I really liked Kiefer Sutherland as Schreiber.
yeah, no,
I think-
he was great in it.
Yeah.
But again, if you're supposed to be following John Murdoch, the Rufus Sewell guy, everybody else in the cast I thought was more interesting than him.
I really liked specifically Rufus Sewell. I liked his unreal portrayal of John Murdoch. I've always felt it seemed deliberate
Yeah,
because you find out, and we'll go through the beats of the film here in a minute. You find out that the world itself isn't real. That the lives that people are living aren't real.
yeah,
And he almost wakes up almost like a blank slate. Like he has amnesia, which is a part of it, but he's trying to figure out who he is or who he's supposed to be.
yeah.
And I always thought that was a part of it. I may be reading too much into it.
Yeah.
I also like I think the actor is an interesting looking actor.
Yes.
I enjoy his physicality.
Yeah.
And just the way he performs roles. And it is the same in the other roles, like in Victoria. He does have like kind of the same mannerisms and stuff.
I look at this like time frame with like Kiefer Sutherland. You go back and think about the other things like Flatliners, where he did stuff with like Kevin Bacon and
Kiefer Sutherland was the Hollywood draw for this.
Jason
He absolutely
Patrick
was.
from the Lost Boys. He would have been a great. I think he would have been a great lead character in this too.
I wonder what Rufus did before Dark City, because sometimes it's
he's-
like you see they did this and this, so that's what led them to
I
it.
think he's one of those guys that I don't think he looks like he didn't do a whole lot before then. He's in like a Knight's
Hamlet,
Tale,
Victory, a Knight's, yeah,
Most of the stuff I see
Man of
for
No
him is
Importance.
stuff that's after Dark City.
yeah,
But,
no.
yeah.
But anyway,
Jennifer Connelly, Kiefer Sutherland, William
Yeah,
Hurt,
William
Melissa
Hurt.
George, ton of good people in it.
yeah.
But
Yeah, Rufus is at the time was the least known of the main cast.
yeah,
So anyway, let's go through the beats of the film. John Murdoch wakes up in the hotel bathtub
with amnesia.
with amnesia. He knows nothing, and right off the bat, the thing that really struck me about this film, and I kind of felt that before I saw the film, the style of it is what drew me. I remember seeing a trailer where it showed like the strangers, the white guys,
Yeah,
and and it was around the same time as that movie Powder. Do you remember that movie?
I've never seen Powder.
Okay.
I know the movie.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like there was this like albino thing going on in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that really drew me. I was like, it's great. And I had seen City of Lost Children, and the architecture and stuff kind of reminded me of City of Lost Children. It had that almost like stage presence where it doesn't look real, but it looks good.
Yeah. Almost like a Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah, very
Gotham
much.
City kind of thing. Especially because we'll get to that too. The buildings change all the time.
Yeah. And at this first scene, it's like the tiles, the green tiles in the bathroom, and just the lighting of it. If you're the type of person who watches modern Hollywood films and you're upset with the fact that like the lighting is just flat and there's no like style or feeling to any of the scenes, watch this film. This film is chock full of just feeling in the lighting, in the set design. But anyway, Let's go on. He breaks a fish bowl and then picks up the fish and puts the fish in the bathtub because he doesn't want it to die. He goes out of the bathroom and he finds a woman dead on the floor with carvings of a spiral all over her. So obviously you're thinking, hey, this guy just killed this lady. He gets a phone call.
I think anytime I see that premise in a movie, I'm like, who set this dude up?
Right, exactly, yeah. So he gets a phone call from Dr. Schreiber, and he's like, hey, I'm your doctor. They're coming. Get out. So he leaves.
Very, very Matrix-like.
Yeah, very yeah. Very. If you watch The Matrix, then then watch this. There's a lot of those. Hey, this is kind of like that. This is kind of like
gets
that.
the little phone delivered to him in his office, and Morpheus talks him out of the agents chasing him around.
Yep. And as he leaves, you get to meet the strangers right away. The guys who are just have a white pallor face and black hats and long black coats.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, very. Actually, yes. I never even thought about that. You are 100% correct. It looks like the Nosferatu character from the 30s.
Probably the other thing that kind of detracts from the movie from me is I put that into my mind the first time I saw them, and for the rest of the time I'm sitting there thinking of SpongeBob with him flipping the lights back on. I don't know if you've seen that episode
I have
or not.
not.
Our kids grew up on that.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a horror episode, and the lights flicker and the walls bleed and all this stuff, and then they turn around and Nosferatu sitting there flipping the thing, and they're all like, Nosferatu.
Kind of took the steam out of that a little bit.
It really doesn't make it a very menacing character after you relate it to a SpongeBob episode every time you see it.
All right, so John escapes, and then we meet Emma, who's a lounge singer essentially.
Yeah.
And she meets Dr. Schreiber, and we find out that they had marital difficulties. She had an affair, and that's why John left. And Dr. Schreiber says that John had a psychotic break, and he's killing a bunch of women. And then at this point, we meet William Hurt's character, Bumstead. Fantastic character, William Hurt. Acts his ass off in this. It's great.
And he's the investigator in this movie.
Yeah. And we go into the hotel, and the thing that you'll obviously notice is the attendant at the hotel is a different attendant.
Yeah.
And he even says like the same line, cash on the barrelhead, 3 weeks is 3 weeks. And that, as the audience member, you're like, okay, something's off here.
Yeah.
So you immediately know that you're not being told everything. And then John goes into an automat, because at this point he's just kind of like wandering around trying to figure things out. And I love this visual. Again, I'm not going to say I love this visual throughout the entire film, because I could, but I'm not going to. This is I'm going to try to be the last time I gush over just the visuals. I love this automat. It's got a wall with a bunch of little cubbies with little doors. And apparently these were like a thing at one point, like back in the 50s.
Yeah.
It's like a old-timey vending machine, essentially, where
Yeah.
there's a person behind putting little treats and food and plates in these little cubbies. And he gets his wallet from this guy because apparently he was there. And this is where John learns what his name actually is, which is John Murdoch.
Does he learn at this point or just right after this that at midnight everybody falls asleep?
I think it's right after this, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to jump ahead of you there.
No, that's fine. Let's see. At the automat, he finds a hooker. She's like, "Hey, you're a
Yeah.
John. You can pay me.
That's
Let's go." And John follows her because at this point he's thinking he's a murderer, and he tries to test himself. He's like, "Can I kill her?" And he runs away because he's like, "No, I can't kill her." And then John is, for some reason, up at the top of a building. He just, like, a lot of this movie is just John wandering around.
Yeah.
And we see this big billboard that says Shell Beach, and that's where we're introduced to the idea of Shell Beach. And during all of this, he's having, like, hallucinations of Shell Beach, of, like, memories. Excuse me. And then the strangers show up, and this is the first time that they have, at the automat, we do see John opens the little door because the guy behind the automat didn't open the door for his wallet. He has like a little psychic blast out of his forehead that opens the door. And when the strangers confront him here, he does more of that, and he's not really controlling it at this point. It's almost like his will is becoming manifest, and they fight. And that is one thing about this film. Again, compared to The Matrix, not as good, but I really like the action aspect of this film.
Yeah.
I think they do a decent job at keeping you kind of on the edge of your seat during the action sequences.
And it's weird too. This was made a year before, but I'm watching it and I'm like, well, that's not really like as good as the Matrix stuff.
Right.
So
right.
That's the lens that kind of screws this movie up for me, I guess. But
man, the Matrix is one of those things. The Matrix really set that bar really high, and if anything is compared to it. I really like the way the strangers will tell people to like sleep now.
Yeah, it's
and he does that to John, and John doesn't fall asleep, and the dude's like, "What?"
But like when everybody falls asleep, they change the city and change people's memories.
Yeah, I think that happens. Yeah, that's the next thing that happens because the strangers are
like every night, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
The strangers are like all gathered in some like. It seems like it's underground. It's like in the sewer or something.
Yeah,
that's kind of the feeling it has.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's just the visuals that they have. And they're all together, and they talk about Murdoch, who can do this thing called tuning, and that's what they call their ability is they can tune. And we see that. And the strangers have names like Mr. Quick, Mr. Book, Mr. Hand. So it's all Mr. and then something that's not a name.
Yeah.
Mr. Street, probably. And they said that they need John because he can tune, and we'll find out why.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think that's when we see kind of what they do, is they reshape the city every night.
Yeah.
And they...
everybody just goes instantly to sleep.
Yeah, everybody sleeps. That's asleep now. They do that to everybody, and they inject people with new memories, new lives. Yeah. And let's see, John visits Emma.
I like the Shell Beach thing. I wrote down that it's like the Empty Man, where I used to live in San Francisco, where he has like this idea that's been implanted. Like multiple people have the idea of Shell Beach there, but it's like you start to get the idea there's no such thing. There is no Shell Beach, or it's maybe something that's being implanted or something like that, which it was in the Empty Man from San Francisco. They just manifested that and wrote that into like a storyline.
And that wasn't a physical implantation. That was like a spiritual or a mental thing.
Yeah.
Like they did it from afar.
Yeah, they created a person and put that into his memory. That
didn't need a machine though. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
It was all like spiritual energy.
Yeah.
Bumstead at this point had already spoken with Emma, being a good detective, speaks to his wife, makes sense, right? And then John visits Emma because he gets led back to her, and he still doesn't have a memory of anything that happened, and because Bumstead's a good detective, he's staking her out, and he finds John, and then there's a little chase scene where Bumstead's trying to capture John, and John inadvertently, and I don't even know if he notices he does it, he creates a door, like out of nothing. There's a wall, and then a door appears, and he goes through the door, and then Bumstead loses him because he went through the door. And John goes into into a cab, and that's when he asks the cabbie about Shell Beach, because he has like a little snow globe of Shell Beach, and he's like, "Oh, you know Shell Beach?" And he's like, "Yeah." He was like, "How do you get there?" And the guy's like, you go down the 45. Wait, there's the 60.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite remember.
It's a little implant into everybody.
Yep. And we find out that Dr. Schreiber he's working with the strangers, and his whole thing in this is he knows how to. I don't know if he developed it or they taught him. I'm thinking they taught him how to mix memories and how to implant memories into people. So he's like their memory guru.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're trying to. The strangers are trying to figure out
Human
nature, or how to be. It's not giving away at this point to say how to become human.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at this point in the film, we still don't really know why they're doing it.
Yeah.
We just know that they're mixing everything up every night, and they're changing people's lives. And there's one scene, I think that's probably the biggest example, is there's a couple who's like, you know, he works at the steel mill or something. They don't have a lot of money. They're kind of lower class, and during the night, their house grows, like literally the table they've both fallen asleep at grows.
They're sitting there like eating like soup or something, and
Yeah.
they fall asleep both face into the bowl.
Into the bowls.
I was like, well, that stinks. They're gonna wake up dead, but they wake up into
Like this
little
lavish
posh.
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. This huge table talking about and like he's apparently now he's like the owner of the steel mill or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just they can change the people's lives dramatically. And let's see. And we find out there's a huge
especially
machine.
if that happens every night.
Yeah, every night.
I mean, that's
But one of the things that John mentions here a little bit, I think we'll get right to it, is John asks his uncle. He's like, "When was the last time you saw day?" So yeah, it is every night, but it's always night.
yeah.
And that's one of those things. Did you realize when you were watching the film at that point where he mentions it? Did you think at some point before that, why is it always dark?
I guess I was assuming that it was always just sort of resetting.
Yeah. That
Resetting at midnight back to just earlier in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I never really thought too much about why there wasn't any sun.
Right. Well, there are movies who just, you don't see it. Like
he
think
wakes
of the
up in
original Batman.
He wakes up in the bath, which, at the beginning of the movie where it's kind of like he's halfway through the day.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was thinking it's like you're not resetting all the way back to like 6 a.m. or anything.
Right.
You're just resetting to the core part of the day where people are at work. And I guess if you wake up and all of a sudden you're a trash truck driver, you just wake up in a truck and you're driving along delivering the trash and you're doing your thing, and then the next day you'll be doing something completely different.
I just remember distinctively thinking when I originally saw this film and they mentioned that, like, where's the sun? I remember being like, oh, that's right. There is no sun. Yeah. I remember that kind of being a reveal for me.
It's like everybody's an NPC, but
yeah,
you just throw them up into the air and they all land somewhere different each time or something.
Mm-hmm. Bumstead at this point interviews Schreiber because he's his doctor, he's a good detective. And then he goes to see his, not really ex-partner, the guy who was on the case before him. His name is Eddie Walensky. He's a detective, and he's kind of gone insane. And he's in a room, and he's drawn the same symbol that John drew, or that John carved into the woman, the spiral symbol. And he says things like, he talks about his wife, and he's like, she's not my wife. And he talks about how he can't remember the past, how he can't, when he tries to get a memory, he can't get a hold of it, how it's not clear. And there's a quote that he says at the end that I've used a lot in my life, is it's just a joke. It's all a big joke. And it's just all a big joke.
Keep that one in mind for a detective story.
Yeah, okay.
When we talked about that.
All right.
It almost seems like it's the same guy.
Oh, there you go. And let's see. Then they mix and match the memories, and we find out that they are using their tuning device is an actual machine.
Yeah.
That like gets their
like
psychic energy together.
Strap into a machine
and we find out that John is having an influence on the machine, and they weren't able to like complete their changes from the night before. And this is when the strangers are like, okay, he's different, and we need him.
Yeah.
John visits his uncle, and they talk about Shell Beach, and John grew up on Shell Beach apparently. And we see they're going through like old photos, and we see a photo of John where his upper arm is burnt, And John's like, my arm's not burnt. And his uncle's like, what's this mean? And then John's just like, none of this is real. That's what it means. And it's kind of where he becomes to the realization that the whole world's fake.
Yeah.
Mr. Hand, this is, I think it, yeah, before this is when all the strangers were saying, we need to, no, I think that's after. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Mr. Hand is one of the strangers who is like the lead detective of the strangers trying to find John Murdoch. He catches back up to John, and he tells them that they made the cities from different eras and pasts, and they're all rolled into one to learn what makes them human because the strangers need to be like human. Yeah. That's
they're experimenting on humans, trying to find a way for their race to survive.
Right. And at this point, the way Mr. Hand caught up to him is they had injected Mr. Hand with John's memories. The memories that John was supposed to have, they injected Mr. Hand with them. And Mr. Hand was kind of following along the same clues and memories that John was following.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot that part.
Yeah.
Let's see. And at this point, I know Bumstead and John have a talk, and John asks Bumstead, he's like, well, where's Shell Beach? And Bumstead shows him like a book that he got from his uncle. And there's John does a lot of running around in this. After John leaves, Bumstead visits his uncle, and he gets a book from him where John had like colored and made pictures. But when John saw the book when he was at his uncle's, the book was blank. So it goes into John realizing that everything's fictional and made up.
Yeah.
At this point, since Bumstead saved John from Mr. Hand, that's how they got together. Emma goes to visit John in prison, and that's when he tells her, like, you never actually cheated on me. Your reality's fake. She doesn't really believe him at this point, but he tries to get that through to her. Bumstead breaks John out of prison because he's starting to believe everything's fake, because that's Bumstead is following all the clues, and he's like, none of this is matching up.
Yeah.
So he's listening to John, who's saying, hey, the world's completely fake. They get together with Dr. Schreiber, and they go to find Shell Beach, because that's kind of like the goal at this point is let's find what this Shell Beach actually is. Schreiber gives John a syringe, and he's like, I need you to inject yourself with this. And he's like, well, why? And he's like, it's all the answers that you need. So John just puts it in his pocket. He's like, I'm not doing what you're saying. You're crazy. To try to get to John, Mr. Hand goes and abducts Emma. And we learn that the strangers abducted humans and brought them to the city. And they're like we were saying, the reason they're interested in humans is we are individuals, and the strangers are like a hive mind.
Yeah. Which
is kind of like probably why they can do the tuning thing, because their brains are in tune.
Yeah.
But they as a species are actually dying, and that's why they're interested in humans. They get to Shell Beach, and it's just a brick wall. And this is the big reveal, because they grab some sledgehammers, they break through the wall, and it's just empty space. And it's a great visual.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And you learn for sure at that point that the strangers are aliens.
Yeah.
And that the whole city is like a deep space habitat that's just floating around. It's an enclosed, it's almost like a prison island.
Right. And it's a lot smaller than you would think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just.
You see it and you're like, okay, no one's ever questioned this before. It's like
10,
a mile or something.
10 blocks in each direction of a city.
Right.
And that's it.
Mr. Hand shows up with Emma, and there's an altercation, and Bumstead gets ejected out into space. And that's when you get to see the whole thing. Yeah. And filmmaker-wise, I think that's an interesting choice, because they're like, well, we need to have a perspective so the audience can see the whole thing. Right. Let's eject someone into space. Let's see. They take John back down to the sewer area where the big machine is, which is like a big face. That's a cool visual. And what they want to do is they want to inject their collective consciousness into John.
So they're going to basically just try to reprogram him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is an interesting idea because it does go into the whole idea of like, well, where is your mind? If you make a copy of your mind, is that really you or is it a new person?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Hand, Mr. Book, and all these guys inject their memories into John. I mean, they don't go. It's a new, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is it. We're gonna inject ourselves into John. We're gonna shut everything down, and then we're just gonna perpetually live inside John. And Dr. Schreiber, who is the one who's doing the injecting, because he's their puppet, he's got a cool like cage apron thing he's in, because he's been disobeying them, so they gotta control him. He swaps the syringes out because John still has a syringe in his pocket, which you would think the strangers would have searched him, but let's...
You'd be surprised how many times the police miss an item in a search.
Oh, really? Okay. So he switches them out, and he injects John with the syringe he gave him before, and it's like a lifetime of training.
It's like full information on the strangers.
And the strangers, what the machine is, how to use the machine, how to use his powers.
Yeah.
It's like Neo waking up.
It's Neo in the chair getting downloaded with Kung Fu and how to bar fight and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And then at this point, we get to just see a really, I think, a fantastic fight scene.
Again, I write it down as like he becomes the one. Because
exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Still a year ahead of time, but still, it's still impossible for me to not see it the other way around.
But one thing I will say is I think John's power set in this more closely matches what I expected from Neo in the sequels.
I think I said that when we were talking about it. It's like there should have never been another fight with an agent after the first one. After when he became fully realized, it should have just been like walking up to an agent and being like, "Skadoosh."
He should. Yeah. If I could like put characters in the second Matrix, he should have been like John Murdoch, as the awakened John Murdoch. In the third one, he should have been like Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Yeah.
Like he should have like obtained godhood. But whatever. And then after that, he takes control of the machine because he has the ability to do the tuning.
Yeah.
And
yes, I mean, he can not just have like superpowers and he can overpower these guys when they fight. He can now shape the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely, it's like godlike powers.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing, the strangers, this is just an aside, is their bodies are corpses. That's why they're all have the white pallor.
Yeah.
Is because they use the dead bodies of humans. And we get, if I remember correctly, we see like they're like a worm, right?
I think so. I'd have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen this. Yeah, I think like a worm comes out of like Mr. Hand.
That's right.
Yeah, and you see that's what they actually look like. And what John does after he kills all of the strangers is he literally just turns the world.
Because it
gives them a sunrise.
For all of the flat earthers, they were living on a flat earth.
Yeah, they were.
They literally were just on the downside, so they couldn't see the sun.
And he causes the world to get ocean around it. And he goes out to the ocean. He's on like a pier.
He like manifests like a little long pier and a beach kind of grows around it, and then the ocean comes out from it. So
and got the horizons, just like literally the edge of like the shield, the electric shield that keeps the air in, I guess.
Yeah.
The atmosphere. And Emma is there on the pier. Introduce himself. Now Anna. Yep. She's someone new.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a little melancholy thing. It was like, that's kind of sad that Emma's gone, but he gets to start new.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know the way to Shell Beach? And she's like, hey, isn't that it? And he's like, yes, it is. And they're like, let's go to Shell Beach. So
Very much what dreams may come.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Finds his wife again and as a child and starts over.
Yeah. I think isolated, like just the Matrix against the Dark City, Matrix, of course.
Yeah.
But like as a property, Dark City is one of those things where like the fact that it's just one film and that's it makes me really fond for it.
Yeah. It's one of those ones
I really
that
love it.
I don't have a lot of repeat watches of it. Mm-hmm. It's probably a little bit like the first couple times I watched The Matrix, where the first time you're like, I'm not sure I got everything that happened here, and then the second time you're like getting it, and it's like, okay, I see what y'all are doing, and like by the third time it's like, this is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I owe The Dark City a few more watches, because I saw it years ago and I think was just completely not into it.
Right.
If I saw it in '98 or close thereafter, again, the whole concept of all these simulation things was just foreign to me. So the interesting part of it is that I thought it was fascinating is that they shot this on the same like sound set that the Matrix ended up.
Yet literally, like one of the roofs that John Murdoch runs along is the same roof that Trinity ran along.
Yeah, yeah, at the beginning foot chase and that. I always thought when you're talking about when they take him back down with the strangers to their underground thing, that some of that has to be where they did some of the underground stuff for the tunnels that go down to Zion and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's a lot. Almost like to have two TVs or something and play them both and see if you can pause some scenes and see if there's actually any just shot for shot stuff. I think the roof is the main one.
Yeah.
To where when they're running across the roof, it's like this is the exact roof that the agents chase Trinity across when she jumps and goes all the way through the window and all that stuff. But this. I think they were shooting the Matrix like 6 months or something after this wrapped up, and I think they were just like, just leave all that stuff. We're going to be there anyway. We'll see what we can use. And I think they end up using a lot of it. So it's interesting that they kind of aped off of the whole set design and stuff of that and came out with something that's definitely more iconic and probably more memorable than. Like if you went through and you took 30 people at the mall and asked them about Dark City and asked them about the Matrix,
Like what?
You'd have pretty high variance in the people that are like, dark what?
Well, you were talking about how like around the time there was all these like movies that dealt with false reality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had to look it up because this is one of those things where I've heard this term before, but I always forget what it's called. It's multiple discovery or simultaneous invention. That's the term I've heard before.
Yeah.
And I think that's both with Dark City and the Matrix. It kind of whatever was going on in our culture at the time, computers probably being the biggest one.
Yeah.
It led to the idea of, well, what if we're in a simulation?
'Cause, I mean, you were getting to games where you were playing online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't yet because I was still on dial-up. The idea of playing online was like, yeah. It's like I'm going to connect and this thing's going to make noises for 20 minutes, and then when I get on, I'm not going to be able to do anything other than slowly download a picture of something. But I think because you had people that were big into gaming and stuff like the Wachowski brothers that had already gotten into that online world of, I can be, I guess for my version of it, I've been playing like The Sims. I was playing The Sims on like a Macintosh Color Classic on my old computer before we even got to a computer that had internet access where you're making all these little virtual worlds, and I'm sure it's very easy to spawn out of that. And you take like what the old Sim Cities used to look like. That's basically the Dark City.
Yeah.
And you start to fantasize about what kind of story could you write here? It'd be a crime thing, or what if it was aliens, or all sorts of things you could kind of spin off from that world. So I don't think it was like so many. Probably not so much people stealing each other's ideas. There were so many similar.
Yeah, absolutely.
One idea builds off of the other, and
also kind of like you were saying before, people talk. They share their ideas, and like with the Dark City and then the Matrix coming right after that, them sharing resources. It's not as movies aren't made in an isolated bubble. They get influenced by other movies.
I mean, video games for me prior to this whole era were side scrollers.
Right.
Whether it was Contra or Donkey Kong Country. When I got Donkey Kong Country, I was blown away that there was that kind of animation in a video game. And the stuff I'd played before that, where it was Castlevania and like Batman games that were a side scroller that were just a copy of Castlevania, but he was in a bat suit and things like that, were what I grew up on. So these guys are close to the same age range that I was in, just probably a little bit older than me as they were making some of this stuff, and creative minds getting access to all that kind of stuff is going to lead to this kind of expansion into these kind of movies and films. And
with a literal few decades behind us since the 90s, one thing that strikes me from like the mid 80s, like the 15 years from the mid 80s to the late 2000s, the amount that our culture shifted because of computers is like staggering.
Oh yeah.
Like when you think about how much our culture shifted from, let's say, the mid 2000s to like 2012, 2013 because of like smartphones, that was pretty dramatic. Since like 2013, we really haven't changed a whole lot.
No.
We've just gotten more insular.
It's because they have us where they want us.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Okay, well, speaking of having people exactly where they want them, let's go into the next film. Now, the next few films Joel has not seen.
Yeah, I will tag along on these and pull up some information while you go through.
While I ramble a bit, we're going to go through these a lot more quickly than the past two. I'm going to try to stay away from spoilers. Generally, we don't care about spoilers or not. But if I'm talking to you about a film you haven't seen,
Oh, you can.
I don't want to spoil them.
I've spoiled multiple movies for you, so you're good. You can spoil away if you want to.
Well, let's go to Equilibrium. And speaking of having people where you want them, this is like just straight up, hey, what if the Nazis won? That's kind of the world we are in Equilibrium.
Okay.
And when was Equilibrium made?
2002.
2002. Okay,
Or was released then.
that is one of the things I find really interesting is if you look at Christian Bale here in the picture we have for the poster, he looks more like Neo looked in the subsequent Matrix films. Like stylistically, I kind of feel like this influenced the Matrix. I don't know if it did, but yeah. So this film,
your first Matrix was before this. Your second one was right after this.
Right.
And I think all the stylistic stuff, like I said when we were talking about that in the last podcast,
when it went from just like black trench coats and leather, and when it got actual like,
I think that kind of came more from the Wachowskis' kind of descent into
right.
that weird sexual culture they got into.
Right.
I don't think it. I think these are probably, like you said, similar simultaneous invention.
Yeah. So in this world, everyone they've determined that the cause of evil in the world is feelings, like any feelings. So everyone takes a drug in their neck, and they get numb. Yeah, right. No, there's a lot of yeah, and they kind of get numb and they don't have any feelings. And Christian Bale's character plays who's called a cleric, and their job is to go out into the world because they kind of live in like a mega city. Go out into the world and find dissidents who are hoarding culture, essentially. Like the first people you see, they have a bunch of paintings, and the reason the paintings are bad is because they evoke feelings. So like the Mona Lisa, they find the Mona Lisa, and one of the first things you find is Christian Bale's character goes in, they open up the floor, there's a Mona Lisa, and they show him, and he's like, destroy it. And they destroy the Mona Lisa. And so as the audience member, you're like, oh, wait, what's this world? And that's what it is. They destroy any culture, any remnant of the past, because that having feelings, having nostalgia, will lead you to evil. That's the idea. It's all about control.
Prosium is the drug.
Prosium, yeah.
I wonder where they got the name for that.
Right. The people who, if you get caught having feelings, they call you a sense offender. You have a sense. And it's led by this enigmatic character they call Father. So cleric, Father, they got a whole religion thing going on in there. Mm-hmm. And pretty much what happens in the film is you follow, and what's the main character's name?
John Preston.
Preston. You follow Preston where he just literally drops one of his prosiums and it breaks. And he can't take his prosium that day, so he starts to have some feelings.
The way they summarize it, he misses a dose of prosium, a mind-altering drug that hinders emotion. He'd been trained to enforce strict laws, and the new regime, suddenly he becomes capable of being capable of overthrowing it. So,
right.
Can't imagine a world where you miss a dose of your medicine and all of a sudden you become horribly out of control. Well, never heard of such a thing.
Right.
How many shootings have we had this year?
He does have a moment in the film where like he's been having feelings for a little while, and he has his prosium and he decides not to take his prosium, and so he like pulls his bathroom mirror out and hides his prosium. And one of the things that they have in this world is if you're as you're walking around and visually, did you ever see Metropolis? Like the old, yeah. Visually, it's very much like Metropolis, like where everybody walks in step and stuff like that. Everybody walks in a mass.
Thought that even Dark City had some little hints of that
A
too.
little bit, yeah. Especially the underground and all that.
Yeah, and even 13th Floor probably, where they were in the 1930s aesthetic. That was kind of what Metropolis was a little bit, then they had the future city at the end, which was sort of their version of a future version of it. But
we do find out that he was married. He has 2 children, a boy and a girl, and his wife was killed by the council because she was having feelings. I know that sounds ridiculous. And she was a sex offender. And at one point they ask him, because they start to kind of see that he's feeling. Oh, before this, we find out that his partner at the beginning of the film had a book that he was bringing with him, and he was like, "Well, why do you have that book? That's supposed to be destroyed." And he was like, "We're gonna log it because we got to investigate it and whatever. I'll take care of it." Turns out he didn't turn it in, and so Preston goes to his partner and he's like, "Hey, I know what you're doing. I know you're having feelings. I know you're having nostalgia, and I'm here to take care of it." And the guy's like, "All right." And so Preston kills him, and that's how he goes out. There is a new partner that Preston gets, and Preston's arc kind of follows that first guy. You kind of see him start to have feelings and have nostalgia, and at one point he has a book, and he's like, I'll take care of it, that sort of thing. The part in the film, and since you said it, I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. It was spoiled a lot so far. The part in the film where you really kind of like is like the turning point is apparently no one has dogs in this world. And once they go into one area where a bunch of the rebels are, they kill all the rebels, and then they find the dogs. They're like, "Oh, look at some dogs. Let's kill them." And Preston at this point is having feelings. He's like, "No, you can't kill this dog. We got to see if it has a disease. So, because if it is, we got to deal with the disease." So he like takes the dog, and he gets caught with the dog, and there's this real tense scene where it's like the dog's in the trunk because he's trying to hide it, and he gets stopped by like some police officers, and they don't know who he is, and they almost find the dog, and then the dog yips, and so he has to kill everybody because they found his dog. And one of the things, I'll mention this at this point, the reason that this gets compared to The Matrix is because of the style.
That's fighting style.
100%. It's called gun kata, also known as gun fu.
Yeah.
Gun fu.
I've seen clips and stuff of it, and saw. I mentioned it before. The YouTube guy, the Flick Connection, is always showing what's free on different stuff. It is a nice resource. The problem is that sometimes by the time you see it, you've got about 2 weeks to track everything down before
it's gone.
Before it gets dark citied and moves again, and you can't find it again.
That's why I like Roku. Roku, you can like search at a high level, and it'll be like, here's all the places you can watch it.
Yeah.
And it's usually here's all the places you can pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've seen the
gun kata.
That's all I've really ever seen about this. It kind of looked like, here's Christian Bale trying to be Neo.
Yeah, exactly. And that is 100%. I hadn't seen this until this past month. That is 100% the reason I did not see this until this past month. Because I saw the clips and I was like, come on.
I think even when it was available on things that we had for free, it would be one of those things you'd see it and you'd be like, not today.
Yeah.
And you just go on to do something else. And I've been at that edge of that I don't know how many times. I think it was probably even on some of the paid service stuff that we had at some point, whether it was on Hulu or on Netflix back when we had that. But I've just never pulled the trigger on his gun kata.
Yeah. I get a strong feeling.
It's like everything I watch with him in it, I've never really watched anything that I didn't like.
Right.
But I don't like seek out Christian Bale movies.
Right.
If that's the right way to say him.
I understand.
He's fine. He's just not my favorite, but he's not. I don't dislike him. It's just
as much of a chameleon as he is. Like he changes his body and stuff like that for his roles.
Yeah,
he's very much one of those like kind of like Tom Cruise. When you watch Tom Cruise, you watch Tom Cruise. Yeah. You know, I kind of feel that way with Christian Bale. If you like what Christian Bale does, Christian Bale plays Christian Bale.
Yeah,
which is it's unfortunate because he goes through a lot. The gun kata being added. the gun kata, the dress, the style. I would not be surprised if this film was written and planned, and then some producer came in after seeing The Matrix and saying, hey, you know what would be cool?
We got to do that.
Yeah. Because this movie could exist completely by itself without all of the gun kata.
I gotta look up one thing just to see when this came out, because I have no idea if this is the same time frame or not. 2001. What year was this?
2002, right?
Prozac Nation came out in 2001.
Prozac Nation?
The first movie that was kind of calling it out as a bad thing.
Oh, okay. Was that a documentary?
No, it's a drama.
Oh,
Christine
Ricci. Yeah.
Jessica Lange, and
Oh, okay, so you're saying with the themes,
I think it sounds to me like it might have been more of a following up that here's the future of where those kind of medicines are going to take us.
yeah.
Kind of sounds like it might have been going that way, and then they're like, hey, let's add some Matrix.
And it had heavy 1984. Did you ever see a THX 1138 from George Lucas?
No.
Okay, it's very much that kind of film. Like if it didn't have the gun fu in it,
Yeah.
people would be. I would at least be saying this is like THX instead of this is like The Matrix.
Maybe more like the Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was it his running? No, it's not his Running Man. What's the other one? Where it's with Mars?
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
More like a Total Recall
Yeah.
kind of environment. Not the same storyline, but probably more like that world.
So Preston kind of gets involved with his ex-partner's wife because she's having feels and she gets arrested. And pretty much the long and short of it is he continues to have feels, and he decides he wants to try to rescue her, but he doesn't. Unfortunately, that was a pretty good moment in the film. And because of that, he decides to go and help the rebels. At one point in one of the incursions that he was involved in, he was trying to help the rebels escape, but the new cleric that was assigned to him kind of sussed him out, figured out what was going on.
Yeah.
And he gets taken pretty much to the lead guy, who we find out is actually Father, their supreme leader. He's being deep faked essentially because Father died a long time ago, but we need him for morale and to lead the people. Very much a Big Brother, Wizard of Oz, man behind the curtain kind of reveal.
Yeah.
There's some sword fights, there's some gun fights, and he overthrows the government. Yeah, overthrows the government because they had fields. One of the nice plot twists, I guess, if the few that they had, was it turns out his son, who throughout the film was interrogating him anytime he seemed like he had feelings, he was interrogating him. At one point, he found the son found that his dad was holding on to the Prosiums, and you learn that the son hasn't been taking Prosium either. And he's like, well, how long? And he's like, since Mom died. And it was oh, that's sad. It was a good moment.
I'll track it down at some point.
I will say, and this is one of those, like I said earlier, if I had watched it back in 2002, I would have been like, man, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
Watching it today, I'm like, hey, that was pretty good. That's just how it is.
It's one of those ones that it's not unheard of. I've known it's been around. It's just one of those things I've just never sat down to do.
Yeah.
And
Well, I avoided it explicitly because of the gun kata.
Yeah.
I still think there are a few cool visuals. Like one of the first visuals they show gun kata is, it's stupid that he just stands there. He breaks into this room and it's completely dark, and he just stands there in the middle of the room, and everybody has guns. He's not dodging bullets or anything, just no one can hit him for some reason. But he's shooting everybody, and he's only moving his arms. His head doesn't move, his torso doesn't move, and he's moving his arms in cross his arm, cross over his head, under his other arm. And
it's It's like they watched the Matrix
Like the
online.
Matrix with
the
yeah.
Matrix Online video game when they started shooting, and there'd be two people
Maybe, yeah.
right here, and they'd just be doing the same thing. They'd be moving their arms and not moving.
Is
their
that what
body.
the online video game was like? Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, that could very well be it. But they had some good visuals. It is cheesy, so you have to go in with some grace for the film.
I go through and see actors from this era doing these same kind of movies and think about which one of these guys would have made me not like The Matrix, and I think Christian Bale would have probably been one of them. Maybe he could have done it well. I don't know.
You mean like if he played Neo?
If he'd been Neo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think Keanu Reeves. It was a combination of perfect casting, perfect time. It was like I think Keanu Reeves was the perfect person for it.
Yes.
I mean, Will Smith was supposed to be a part of it.
Yeah.
He said he didn't understand it, so he's like, I didn't understand the film, so I didn't want to be in it.
Thank goodness.
It would have been a different film. I don't know if it would have. I don't know if it would have had the cultural impact.
I don't
know if it would have gotten a sequel because I don't know if Will Smith would wanted to do a sequel.
I would not have wanted the one Neo to be a whippy, sarcastic guy, and Smith was already doing that. He didn't do it in I Am Legend. He did pretty well with being more of a straight-laced guy in that.
I kind of felt like I Am Legend was his version of the Number 23. You know, Jim Carrey's
Yeah,
film.
I've never seen it. I know what you're talking about.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. But yeah, I felt like that was him like trying to get out of his typecasting.
Yeah, the Independence Day typecasting Men in Black thing that's not my cup of tea either.
Let's see. So, Men in Black and Bad Boys. Those are really the films I can think of. Let's see. Because I Am Legend did Hancock didn't. No. Yeah, I'm just saying Will Smith really wasn't known for doing sequels.
Yeah.
So if he had done The Matrix, I don't know if they would have gotten more.
Yeah, I always forget about Hancock.
Hancock was great.
His portrayal of that character was very good.
Yeah. But the Equilibrium is not in an alternate reality. It's not in a computer simulation. It's supposed to be the real world.
Yeah.
So like the only reason that people say it's like The Matrix is because the gun caught in the style.
Yeah.
Yep. Now the next film, also on the shelf of if I saw this at the time, I would have been like, this is terrible. eXistenZ.
Same thing. I've seen it pop up on things. I'm sure on Netflix when we had that, and just one. I think I read the description and kind of pondered it, and it was like, maybe later. And of course, when it came around to actually wanting to watch it for our show, it's magically not available on anything that I have access to. I'm sure as soon as this next month turns over, all of these will pop right back up on something I can do for free. But
now I had to. I kind of refused to buy any of these, and so I tracked them down, and I did go through some hoops. So I think eXistenZ is on like Tubi. I think that's where I watch it or something like that. It's one of those, or Pluto or something like that.
yeah, I'll watch one on Tubi. If it's on Pluto, I'm not watching it because the commercial breaks are so frequent, and it's the same couple commercials that I've literally just bailed on a movie because I just couldn't stand to go to that many more commercial breaks.
Yeah.
I also watch it the free version. I've never created an account on there. I don't know if that changes that at all.
I don't know.
I did make one on Tubi so we could actually make watch lists and stuff like that. But
Equilibrium, I watched on the library's streaming service called Hoopla. Have you ever heard of this?
Never.
I was like, hey, I've talked about libraries before. I'm like, I don't think about going to the library for media, but man, there's also all sorts of stuff there. And apparently there's an online service you can get on your phone, you can get on a computer, you can probably get it on like your TV. It's called Hoopla, and all you need is a library card, and you have to like physically go to the library to sign up for it.
Okay.
Because you have to like get your account associated with a password and all that. But I get like 5 borrows a month. And they have TV shows, they have movies, they have books, they have audiobooks. It's kind of cool.
Cool.
All right, quick break. I'm going to get me some Red Pill. I finished my coffee, so might as well have a little bit of tea.
I took a break because I already had my red pill. Teas do that to me.
I did enjoy the hibiscus tea.
Yep.
All right, let's get Oh, we're talking about where I was finding these movies. Let's see. So yeah, we got the library service. eXistenZ was on Tubi. We're going to talk about Videodrome. That one was hard to come across, and I think it was one of those situations where like I was looking for it, and it wasn't available, and then it became available because it was available through this service, a free one called Cineplex. Ever heard of it?
The weird thing with like Prime is you'll search a movie on it, and it'll show you if there's any platform that it's available through. Half the time they're purchase platforms, and sometimes it'll come up at the bottom. There'll be like 6 different things. And I think I've seen Cineplex there, but I've never explored it because they're always purchase things that or at least the way they pop up on Prime.
Right.
They want you
Prime
to,
does a lot of like, you have to be subscribed to this other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Prime wants to be a hub for your services.
Yeah.
Which I have signed. I mean, if I sign up for a service anymore, it's through 2 means. It's either through Prime or it's through my Apple account. Because both of those ways, it's kind of easy to cancel. Because other ways, if you like just say, here's my email, sometimes it's hard to cancel.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I don't remember. Oh, it's Aniplex. I was like, there used to be this anime company, and I was thinking it was Cineplex. It's called Aniplex. That's why I was kind of getting mixed up.
Yeah.
But anyway, I found Videodrome on Cineplex, and before that, I found it on the Internet Archive, where someone had a VHS tape, and they had 2 movies on this VHS tape. You know how we used to do.
Oh, yeah.
And they just uploaded the whole thing. They were like, here's that one VHS tape with 2 films. Horrible quality. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this Videodrome with this quality.
I 100% think when the Terminator ends, the first Terminator movie, that it should be followed by Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie.
Because that's what always preceded it.
The credits stop. And there's that quick little
Yeah.
pause
Little-
from where it stopped and you started taping again, and it starts
Little
right
bit
into
static.
to the entry thing for
Yeah.
Over the Top. And I'm always disappointed. Like if you watch Terminator and it closes, I'm like, oh yeah.
I feel that way about Night of the Creeps and Tales from the Dark Side. Have you ever seen either of those?
The Tales of the Dark Side, yes, and Night of the Creeps, I think, might be available on Prime or Tubi.
Yeah.
I was looking at that the other night, and I was like, I don't have time to watch a movie tonight.
It's an early
It's
1980s
the
slasher film.
things jumping into your
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of jumping into mouths, eXistenZ. So, who made this film? It feels like a Cronenberg film.
It is. It's
Okay.
David Cronenberg.
And isn't Videodrome Cronenberg too?
It is.
Okay, so 2 Cronenberg films. The premise of eXistenZ is there's this woman, Allegra Geller, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh. She is a video game developer, but the video game system is like this organic controller thing, and you have to plug the eXistenZ system into a port that's in your lower back in order to like interface with it, and you go into a virtual reality kind of world.
Yeah, yeah.
And people want to kill her. I never feel like I got a good reason. Just people want to kill her because they think what she's doing is like wrong. The worlds that she's creating.
This is a crazed fan attempts to kill her, and then
Yeah.
she goes on the run.
Yeah, Jude Law is the other character. What's his name? Ted. Ted takes her, and she thinks he's her bodyguard at first, but turns out he's just like a sales agent. So, whatever. They go on the run. Ted doesn't have a port, and she had her unit is like damaged, and she wants to make sure it's okay, and she needs to port it into him. And so he needs to get a port, and he goes to this, and they go to this like a gas station where Willem Dafoe is. I was like, hey, Willem Dafoe's in this. I didn't know this. And it turns out after he installs the port into this guy, they plug the port in, and the port that he installed is like a bum port. It's like and it creates a virus, and it starts to destroy this organic computer that eXistenZ lives on. And he tries to kill her. And he's a part of this like group that is against what she's doing. And Ted kills him. Hey, that's great. And then they escape to what it seems like someone that she knew. It's like, I don't know if it was her father or something like that. It's just an old friend of hers who works on these eXistenZ biomechanical machines. And she's like, I need you to fix this. It's got a problem. And while they're there, they go into the eXistenZ world. She says that she needs to test it with with someone who is friendly. It's like a multiplayer thing. They both plug in. And one of the things about this whole visual for eXistenZ is the port that plugs into the people kind of looks like an umbilical cord. And they have to like lick it to get it wet, it's all very sexual. And like at one point when they're in the eXistenZ video game, it turns out that there's like a narrative you have to follow, and sometimes your character has to say something in order for the narrative to continue. And this extends to the character doing things as well. And at one point, they're in the game of eXistenZ, talking about layers. There is this other version of eXistenZ that's tiny. It's like a little portable version that the whole thing, instead of just having an umbilical cord, the whole thing goes into your port. And like Jude Law puts the little eXistenZ portable into the back of Jennifer Jason Leigh, and then he like tongues the port. It's all very uncomfortable. And then they go even deeper into the eXistenZ world. And one of the things that they kind of think of how the Matrix, where like they have the deja vu, and that kind of like lets you know something's going on.
Yeah.
In this world, it's when a character like repeats something, like I said, they're going along a narrative, and they have to keep along the narrative, and you as the player needs to say specific things in order to keep the story going. And when they kind of go deeper, and he's like in a fish market, and he goes to Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, that's right, Allegra, goes to Allegra, and she repeats something like you see other NPCs do.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gives you the thought that maybe she's an NPC, but like it never goes back to that. Like it never touches on that again. It's a very weird moment. I guess.
No, I was looking at the cast and stuff. It's like kind of surprised it didn't have
Jude
a
Law.
little bit more of a stamp in time there with the. This is not just Jude Law, William Dafoe. It's got Ian Holm, Sarah Polley, Christopher Eccleston, that guy from 28 Days Later, Jerry Quigley. There's a whole ton of people in there.
I think it's because it's a weird movie. Because he's at the trout farm where they're they're like deboning trout and whatnot on a conveyor belt, but like the trout are like frogs or something. They're just weird animals. Yeah. It's Cronenberg.
Yeah.
And they go to like a dinner, and at the dinner he has to kill the waiter, and the way he kills the waiter is they have to order like the special, and they get the special, and it's just this plate of just disgusting stuff. And Jude Law's character, against his will, starts to eat the stuff in this plate, and as he's eating it, he's taking the corpse pieces, like the bones, and he's attaching them together, and he forms a gun out of bones, which, I didn't mention this before, looks like the gun that was used from the crazed fan at the very beginning of the film. Gotcha. So at this point, as the viewer, you're like, wait a minute, that gun looks familiar. Huh. And he kills the guy, and that moves the narrative forward. And pretty much what happens at that point is they get pulled back into reality, and you find out that Ted is really a double agent for the whatever organization hates Allegra and wants her killed. And he's like, hey, I'm going to kill you because I'm a part of this organization. And she kills him. And then you find out that after that, they all get pulled out of eXistenZ. And there's this other, what's it called? Look up what eXistenZ is, man, transist. I think it's transistence or something like that. They get pulled out, and you find out the entire eXistenZ movie takes place inside of this other virtual video game world, which has instead of the biomechanical, like fleshy computers and whatnot, it's more like. Have you ever seen Strange Days?
Yeah.
How they have that squid thing on their head? It looked more like that. It's
I was
like
thinking of Strange Days when I saw this cast.
Oh, okay.
And that, like, you had a lot of talent in that movie,
Strange
but it's
Days
kind of a
is fantastic.
It's kind of a weird movie. It's not a super popular movie because
It should
just
be.
it's just got too much going on, I think, for some people to kind of get into the story. But yeah, no, I agree. It's a great movie, but it's when you see that cast of people that was involved in this, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of that, where you, as you watch Strange Days, you're like, oh wow, he's in it, he's in it, she's in this, and she's in this, and it's like, how did this? Why was this not like a big movie? And,
Transcendence is what it was called.
yeah, I had autocorrect trying to correct my spelling of eXistenZ.
It's like, oh no.
It keeps on putting it back to existence.
Yeah. But then you find out, because you're in the actual real world, that both Ted and Allegra, I forget if that's their actual real names, I don't think it is, because you find out when they get pulled out that they are part of an organization in the real world that is against the creator of Transcendence, and they kill him, and the movie ends. This one's really easy to see why people think it's like The Matrix.
This is tied to The Matrix because they plug in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was this made?
It was 1999.
Okay, so this definitely isn't one of those things where, like, they saw The Matrix, and they're like, hey, we gotta plug people in, but we can't use the neck because The Matrix used the neck.
This came out in April of 1999, so they would have had to be producing it before.
Yeah.
Or at least while The Matrix was being released. So it'd be kind of hard to work that in at the last second. At least that much of it into the story.
This was very much, like, I've never been into, like, the hacker scene. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not even going to get involved in that because it's whatever. But I imagine that watching this, being someone who knows, like, likes video games and virtual reality and stuff like that, especially like in 1999, was like someone watching hackers who was an actual hacker in like 1995.
Yeah.
Because there are so many tropes that they kind of try to play with in this that it's just like, that's ridiculous. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. But it was, I mean, it's a Cronenberg film. It's got weird visuals. It was fine. I wouldn't say it's a great movie.
I don't know how much she's in it. It's got Sarah Polley.
Who?
The girl from Dawn of the Dead remake. The blonde.
Sarah Polley?
Mm-hmm. Oh, she in this movie, she was Merle.
Sarah.
Is that right?
P-A-L-L-Y?
P-O-L-L-E-Y.
Oh. Sarah Polley. Oh, yeah, okay. I think she was just like a...
Probably not a prominent character.
No. Well, in the beginning of the film and the end of the film, like when they try to kill Allegra in the beginning of the film, they're doing like a public showing of eXistenZ, and it's a bunch of people sitting like in chairs on a stage, and they're all sitting up there plugging in. At the end of the film, when they pull out of eXistenZ and you find out, oh, well, the whole movie was in a virtual world, it's the same scene, like everybody's kind of sitting there,
yeah.
Except then you get to see like, oh, well, that was the waiter that they killed. Oh, well, that was her friend who fixed her eXistenZ unit. So you see like all the characters from the film represented. I think that's where she was, just one of those people.
She's one of those ones that falls into that celebrity category. Is like, don't please ever play any video of her speaking about anything, because I have a positive view of her, and I don't want to hear her spew the same Hollywood nonsense that makes you just detest all of these folks. But let me keep my pleasant opinion of her.
She looks familiar. I'm wondering what she's been in that I've seen.
Dawn of the Dead's the main. I've
Dawn
watched
of the
Dawn
Dead.
of the Dead, that remake, 2004. I don't know how many times. That was one of the DVDs that I had early, so it was the one that I rewatched all the time, and just always liked her because of that movie. But speaking of liking somebody because of a movie, How about Videodrome?
Are you familiar with Videodrome?
Nothing other than I remember now that I pulled it up that Deborah Harry was in it from Blondie.
Yeah, that's like the main lady.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's worth watching that movie.
All right, Videodrome was an uncomfortable film. I had never seen it before. There are films that I saw when I was younger that I shouldn't have seen. Phantasm is one of them. Hellraiser is one of them. I'm glad I did not see this as a kid. Videodrome kind of touches on some topics that are just uncomfortable, and it's the kind of things that most people kind of ignore. Like you kind of tell yourself, well, that doesn't really happen, or it happens so infrequently that it's not really. This kind of goes with snuff films. That's kind of what Videodrome starts off with.
Yeah.
James Woods.
This is a TV show dedicated to torture and punishment.
Yep. Like I always thought Videodrome was going to be like the name Videodrome was to the Matrix what the Matrix was to the Matrix. That's what I thought was, but it's not that. Yeah. It's just like the title of the TV show they call it Videodrome. What's it? Max. James Wood plays Max, and he's the president of this TV station, and he's just looking for something to put on TV to titillate his audience. And he comes across Videodrome. The guy that works for him can like pirate TV signals, and he finds this pirate TV signal, and they start watching it. And Max is thinking like, well, this is fake. That's great, and this is uncomfortable. It's titillating. People will eat this up. There's no plot. There's no story. It's just torture.
Probably worth mentioning that all these other movies are hitting right around on the dartboard, right around the Matrix, 1998, 1999, 2001. Yeah. This is 1983.
Yeah, it's way before the Matrix.
Way before.
And let's see. What's the woman? Do you have the cast list up?
She is Nikki Brand.
Yeah, Nikki.
Deborah Harry.
Mm-hmm. So he pretty much shows her Videodrome, and she's like, she kind of has some fetishes, and like she likes to be cut, she likes to be burnt, that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm saying. The subject matter is uncomfortable, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't come across it as a kid, because if I had, I would have watched this. My parents didn't care, so it would have been fine. And she decides, hey, I'm going to audition for Videodrome, because she's also thinking it's just fake.
Yeah.
So she goes disappearing, of course. And it's him trying to find, well, where's Videodrome? Where's it recorded? So I can pretty much find her. Also, where's it recorded? Because he wants to put it on TV. He's like, this is great. I want to like license it. Turns out he starts to have like hallucinations, and Videodrome causes hallucinations in the people who watch it. There's this man, Professor, I think it's Brian Oblivion.
I have it up there.
He's like this enigmatic character, almost like Father was in Equilibrium,
yeah.
Where he only likes to make appearances through video. And he has this whole philosophy of video being the future and video being the way society is going to develop and grow. And he's very strict about only being interviewed through the TV. And so he tries to find this guy. He talks to his daughter. It turns out this guy had a tumor, and it was caused by Videodrome, and he was having hallucinations. And the guy's been dead for a while. He just made a bunch of recordings ahead of time so that he could like essentially stay alive and people could think he's alive. And James Woods' character Max starts to like his TV at one point becomes like flesh and like reaches out to him. He has this. He's sitting on the couch and he has this like scar on his belly, and the scar becomes vaginal, and he has a gun because he's got a gun because he's paranoid. So he has a gun and he starts like putting his gun in his chest cavity, and he loses his gun in his chest. It's so weird, and that scene in particular made me go, okay, we need to get back to like practical effects.
Yeah.
Because this is so uncomfortable. But if this was done digitally, I wouldn't have minded it at all.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of in Alien, where Ash had not Ash. Who's the guy who initially dies? Ash is the android.
I'm not going to remember that without looking.
Okay, the guy in Alien with the chest buster.
The main guy.
Yeah, well, the main guy that dies.
The first guy.
Yeah, the first guy. the way they did that was he was like on his knees underneath the table, and they built a fake body.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they did for James Woods, but
Okay.
it's done so well.
Yeah.
But anyway, he follows Videodrome to this spectacular optical place that's like a front for Videodrome, and it turns out Videodrome isn't a pirate signal, that they have produced tapes, and he's been getting fed these tapes, and they're like manipulating him, and they want Videodrome to go out to the world to like infect the world. And at the end of it, the Nikki lady that was that her name? Yeah, Nikki Brand.
Yeah, Nikki
Yeah,
Brand.
she's been dead. She got killed, obviously. And at the end of the film, he's just like in an alley watching a TV that's telling him to kill himself, and they show him killing himself. And Nikki's on the TV telling him, if you want to escape the world and truly wake up, this is how you do it. And they show him shooting his brains out, and then he shoots his brains out, and that's it. It's a weird movie. It reminded me a lot of Naked Lunch.
I would say it's like it has like a port jack or something in it too, doesn't it?
No,
It doesn't?
no, I think it's probably talking about the vaginal chest cavity.
Okay.
Because at
I
one
was saying
point,
that it had like bioports. That was one of the ways it like compares to the Matrix, but I guess that's a stretch.
yeah, because this was before computers, so a lot of the terminology
It's like
and
TV signals and
right, like the TV signals can affect who you are and affect your brain and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
at one point, he gets like a tape, a Videodrome, and it turns like fleshy and starts to pulsate. And the main bad guy at one point, when he wants to like take him over, he takes that tape that's all fleshy and he shoves it into his chest. Very uncomfortable scene.
that body horror part of that's probably the
Body horror, that's what it is, yeah.
probably the way that people are linking this to the Matrix, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't
Well-
seen this one, but it sounds like that's you have all the, especially when they wake up in the pods. You know, that's kind of uncomfortable the first time you see that, where they've got
Yeah.
holes all the way down their back, and Neo has to pull the
Oh, yeah.
tube out of his mouth, and it just gags him.
Yeah.
It seems to be like very painful and stuff every time people are getting connected and disconnected from it. So
Oh yeah, well, like at least the first time they show Neo, let's call him Matrix, Neo re-entering the Matrix, or at least the loading area, they like shove that spike in the back of his head, and he like
Yeah.
winces because it.
I think
assuming
that-
it hurts.
I think the first time when they're like putting their jacking him in, they're like this. They're like telling him like, this is gonna feel weird.
yeah.
And then they
That's right. They say that's going to feel weird.
yeah.
I do think that this never comes right out and says they're in a virtual world. It's more that this movie reminded me a lot of They Live.
Yeah.
I mean that to
That's
to
kind of
me,
what I
if-
was just again scanning over it
Yeah.
while you're describing it too, trying to pull that out of it. Does it sound like it's like there's an evil or artificial signal that kind of masks everything or controls people?
Yeah.
I was trying to get there too. I was thinking the same thing. I just couldn't. I wasn't putting that thought together that it seemed more like They Live
Yeah.
than something else.
Yeah, I definitely like in the if there's like the Matrix is over here and They Live is over here, it's more towards They Live.
Yeah.
I don't know, even after watching the film, I don't know if it was supposed to be the real world or not. I think it was. Because when he kills himself, the movie ends. It's not like, at least I didn't get the feeling of there being any hint that he woke up somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like that's it's got some things that are cyberpunky sounding.
Yeah.
Say that with the body horror part of the things that kind of seem to, or people are using to try to relate that to the Matrix, I would say it's a bit of a stretch
I 100% agree.
on that category.
Did you see any images when you were looking at stuff of like a helmet looking thing?
I watched the trailer for this thing when I was trying to find it. I saw it on YouTube. I was hoping maybe the movie would be on YouTube.
They put a helmet on him at one point towards the end of the film when they're kind of getting him under control, and what the helmet is supposed to do is like record his hallucinations.
I can't remember if I remembered the helmet thing. I remember like this image of him with like his TV like going into like, or his head going into like a TV.
Yeah, he makes out with his TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and
like,
it's very much more, I think, along the lines of being hallucinating than it is being in an alternate world. Yeah.
there's a image there, and again, I don't know the context of it, where he's got a pistol and
Oh,
he's got
yeah.
like wires running
Yeah.
through his hand, or somebody has wires. I don't know if it's James Woods or not, but
Yeah, it's that situation where he becomes a part, like Videodrome affects him, but he decides he needs to take Videodrome down, and then I completely glossed over all that. Trying to summarize a movie quickly, you can miss stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, he becomes like the instrument to destroy Videodrome. He ends up killing the because you find out the thought, like the enigmatic father kind of figure, the big brother figure is dead. He's been dead, and so you have kind of like Equilibrium, the second man who's been controlling everything. Max kills him in a very public way,
Yeah.
and the way Max kind of goes on a murder spree. At one point, he walks into an office, kills like 3 people. People rush in, and he just kind of like hides the gun and just like leans over. Oh, and people are like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he just walks away. It's like, what? Like, people walk in and they're like, there are 3 people dead. One's not dead. What happened? You guys know what happened.
Cronenberg with that and The Fly and like Crash and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm like, putting him on the list of not somebody to leave your children around. I was
Yeah,
looking, it's like he's married and has 3 kids. I'm like, man, poor kids.
Crash
Crash is that Holly Hunter thing, like where she and James Spader
from like 2004.
are like, they like to get in crashes and hurt themselves.
Different Crash film.
Yeah, no, not the police.
Yeah,
police
I was
thing.
thinking that's a Cronenberg film.
No. This is like they're into like scars and wounds, and it's.
Crash
I watched it
Cronenberg.
one time because I think maybe I'd heard that that Crash movie is really good. Talking
Yeah.
about the other one.
Yeah.
And I
Oh, you
watched-
got this one.
This came on like IFC or something back when we had cable. I'm like, oh, there's that Crash movie, and I sat there and watched it, and it was like 20 minutes in. I was like, what the hell am I watching? What is this?
That's
It's like,
great.
it's like, who likes this kind of garbage? But
Sex and car crashes is the tagline.
yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah. If you don't believe me on the keep your children away, just pull up a picture of David Cronenberg. I'm like, wow.
James Spader. All right.
Yeah, James Spader is another.
Holly Hunter.
He plays a lot of freaky stuff.
Interesting. And yeah, when I was my introduction to Cronenberg, it was Naked. Well, was Naked Lunch Cronenberg? Yeah, it was Cronenberg.
Was it okay?
Yeah, that was my introduction to like those kinds of films. And I mean, I've only seen it like 1.5 times really. I
still
saw
never
I
seen
saw it
Naked
once
Lunch.
when I was a kid, and then I've like caught it, clips and stuff. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed the like the otherworldliness of it.
Yeah.
That's probably one of his more subdued films that like he kind of held back.
I would watch
Peter Weller. Yeah.
Videodrome. I was going to say Chrome. I've been saying Cronenberg now. I watch Videodrome just to see Deborah Harry in a movie. I've only seen her like in one thing, and she was much older when she was in it. I'd still say she's one of the most beautiful women that's been in my lifetime. She was, when she was singing for Blondie and all that, she was.
What else was she in?
She was the mom.
Because it was definitely one of those things where I was like, I recognized who she was. But I didn't know where I saw her from.
Trying to think. Yeah, she's in Copland. I've seen that tons of times. She's not huge in that. She didn't have a big part in that. There's another thing where she was playing like somebody's mom. I can't remember what movie that was in.
I'm looking at her.
She's done so
IMDb right
many
now.
like independent kind of movies.
Hmm.
It's things that you see like once and you're like, well, okay, that was interesting, but I'm not watching that again.
Yeah.
I don't see anything jumping out at me is what I'm trying to think of.
Same here. Nothing's.
It's not the elegy heavy. But yeah,
Anyway,
she's done more movies than I thought. I thought she'd only done 2 or 3 movies, but she's done a pile of them.
yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I was surprised when I was scrolling down that she had done so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, she was in Tales from Dark Sides, the TV series. I bet that's what I know her from.
I've got an image of her being like a mom with like gray hair and something. Maybe that was a TV show and not a movie. I'm not placing what it was.
I have a mental image. Might not be her. That I might be thinking of different property, different actress. But after talking about those films, one of the things I want to talk about was like the Venn diagram of the Matrix, because that's kind of what I felt with these films. Is like, well, none of them were like 1-to-1. You know, none of them I felt were ripping off the Matrix necessarily. I mean, equilibrium in the style and the gun kata, sure, but not as a whole film.
Do I have a? Can we find an audio of Kamala Harris saying how much she loves Venn diagrams?
How much she loves Venn diagrams. But definitely, I think if you could definitely make a Venn diagram of the Matrix style, the Matrix themes, the Matrix special effects.
Yeah.
And you could say Matrix has all of them. Then these films kind of aped off of this. These films kind of aped off of this.
Yeah, because there really isn't too many of these that we've looked at weren't multiples of them. Like extends 13th Floor was definitely like
I would say
storyline, but not the same kind of style.
Yeah.
Dark
like-
City was kind of more visually like it. Less,
visually themes, but not technology. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other ones kind of seem like we have similar gadgets to what they used in the Matrix, so people relate us to those.
Yeah. And when I was looking at like movies kind of like The Matrix or movies associated with The Matrix, one of the movies that came up that I was just like, no, was The Cube. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Like they're in this like just giant prison, and each room in this prison is just like a square.
I think I've seen that on
And they go
a
from
service.
Yeah, they go from room to room, and each one of them has like a puzzle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't, because it's not in the real world or
I
not
think
in.
we're talking about that at the beginning of how you could start to kind of branch out into the different things that could be loosely tied to the Matrix, where if you get into like some of the Jim Carrey movies we talked about, or even something like that, it's just like, just because it has like a little element of it doesn't really put it into that category. It's too much of.
I mean, I just typed into Bing. Hello, Bing. So take that with a grain of salt. Movies like The Matrix, and it's coming up with like Minority Report.
Yeah.
No, The One is a good example because it's like the kung fu and stuff. Sure, but that's about as far as it goes.
It's like I'm just looking at a Godzilla poster. I'm like, it's like saying because there's a tank in a Godzilla movie that it's in the same category as Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And it's like, no,
No.
it's not the same thing. It has some. It shares a thing or two with it, but it's not in the same category.
Have you ever seen X versus Sever? Ballistic X versus Sever. It has Antonio Banderas
No.
and Lucy Liu in it.
No. I remember the movie coming out, but I think that followed up some of those. What was the El Mariachi? And then they
Once Upon a Time in.
They took Banderas took over those and turned them into those high budget action movies.
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico, whatever else they were called.
Is that what it was?
Something like that. And I kind of got tired of seeing him and stuff. And I think then when that X versus 7 thing came out, I was like,
that was it.
I'm not interested in any more of him. I'm glad that the ladies like him.
I remember there was a video game on like the Nintendo like Game Boy Advance, I think. That was X versus Sever, and I think like the movie's based on that video game.
Okay.
And I remember playing the game and enjoying the game and seeing the trailer for the movie and being like, this is nothing like the video game. So I avoided it. All right, I'm looking through this list of 15 movies that are like The Matrix. Like Paprika? Yeah. I mean, I can see why you would say that.
Yeah. You can make arguments for, like I said, any of these movies to have a similarity to it for some reason, whether it's an alternate reality or living inside of something or sharing some of the technology or like the Equilibrium being just fight style. It's
Wait a minute. I was thinking of a different film. The Cell? I was thinking of a movie called The Cube.
Yeah, The Cell with Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez.
Did I say The Cube earlier?
Is that not Vincent D'Onofrio too?
Yeah.
That plays the bad guy in there?
Yeah. That's one of the ones that they're saying. Okay. I was confusing those two.
Yeah, the cube's like the little thing where they just keep moving through.
Yeah.
It's almost like traps and people are getting cut up.
Right. So people didn't say, so yeah, I was thinking The Cell was The Cube, excuse me. So it was The Cell that they're saying is like The Matrix. Again, that's just because you go into like a non-real reality, a virtual reality.
Was that also like The Cell was Vince Vaughn as like the investigator, wasn't it? I remember that was like that was 2000, so that was right in that same.
Yeah. I guess I could kind of see where
Vince
where they're
Vaughn
saying
was
that.
the police officer guy.
Okay. But like Blade Runner, no. Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, no. Okay, The Matrix was inspired by Ghost in the Shell and Blade Runner, sure.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. Well, the Venn diagram there would be like there'd be another circle over here that would just be cyberpunk.
Hey, you mentioned Vanilla Sky. That's on their list too. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I've got for a Matrix adjacent media.
Like I said, I think when you get into making lists,
Oh yeah.
though, I think when I was talking about mishandled franchises with somebody back when we first started this thing, I think the first thing they interjected was like the Fast and the Furious, and I'm like, really? Everybody has like their thing that they think of, and
Yeah.
some of them are more along the lines of what we think, and some of them are like, wow, okay, hadn't thought of that one.
Well,
There's probably Matrix adjacent films in people's minds that are ones that we probably were not even thinking of, but
yeah.
I think to kind of get into the category, you need the simulation needs to be part of it.
Yes.
Not just an alternate
100%.
reality.
I agree.
And I think to really kind of stay in that category, it needs to be something that's doesn't have to be like a cyberpunk thing, but it needs to be like a striking visual thing.
I think it needs to. I also feel like it should be, like you're saying, kind of cyberpunk, but it needs to be like futuristic. Like
Yeah.
if there was a movie where it turns out it's set in the 1300s and it turns out they're in a virtual world, I wouldn't consider that to be like the Matrix just because it's a virtual world. I think the style of the Matrix.
I want to see it the other way. I want to see a scientist in like the 1300s that's imagined all of this world and is sending people into this imaginary.
There you go.
Sitting there
He's
with
using
like
magic.
He's sitting there like, and got a guy just cranking like a big old generator and
Yeah, I like it.
looking like like more like a Frankenstein thing with like big old things getting up, hitting, struck by lightning.
All right, so the next episode we're going to be talking. This is going to be our leftovers. Oh, we actually need to do the topic for next month.
Oh, yes.
So let's go ahead and take a break. Go get our little
take a pause.
gashapons.
We'll get our bucket of topics
and
and
we'll figure out what.
see what's next.
I've watched so much stuff for the Matrix for this month. I'm kind of hoping it's not something I have to prepare a lot for.
I've watched. We've had some time off, and I've watched a whole bunch of just all kinds of stuff. And I'm to the point now that I'm out of memory. If I try to do our appetizers for the next show, I have to sit down and like write a list and then cut down what it is I want to talk about because I've seen so much stuff. But
All right, well, let's pause for a minute.
back with a bucket.
All right. Bucket of topics. Cool. Do the honors.
I think I have trouble getting these things open.
Squeeze, squeeze. There you go.
There we go. And this is Lawnmower Man.
That's one of mine.
All right.
That one's easy.
That is pretty easy.
We're just one movie. As much as I probably would like there to be a bunch of different lawnmower man kind of media.
The it's a short story too, so
By Stephen King.
I'll have to see if
Yeah.
I can track that down because I would like to read that. I think we talked about that in the show at one point.
Yeah.
And how it was written like in the 60s or 70s or something, and when there was no virtual reality.
Right.
So be interesting to go read the actual thing and then
I'd really like to know like how it differs from the film, because it's got to be way different.
Oh, well, I think I'll have time to be able to do that by the time we can do the next one. So
Okay, well, that's it for this episode. Next episode on Leftovers, we're going to be talking about other Matrix media, like the stuff from the Matrix that was not the films, right?
yeah, I think the core of that's probably going to be the Animatrix.
The Animatrix.
Um,
So good. So good.
That's deserving of its own show.
Yeah, it really is.
We'll throw in a couple other things with it.
Touch on the other stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Joel.
Yeah.
This was They're always longer. They're always longer than I anticipate. This was fun.
All right. Later.